Hey, you guys want to start a band?
What kind of band?
I don't know, man. I've just been playing a lot of guitar lately, and I just want an excuse to play more.
All
So
right, I'm in. I'm in.
I,
What
I
about you, Wes?
I feel like you both of you guys rock
Uh,
harder than I do, though. I'm like kind of a emo pussy, and you guys are like metalheads, right?
Kinda, yeah. I mean, I have a wide variety of tastes, but mostly metal, so I think you'll be outvoted for sure.
I'm gonna go start my own band.
Has your music got any breakdowns in it, Brian?
I don't, I don't know. Explain to me what a
Okay.
breakdown is, Miles.
It's basically where you throw a ping pong ball or a table tennis ball at the wall,
Hmm.
and then you listen to how it bounces, and then you just replicate that rhythm on a guitar on the lowest thing. So it's did
I
it,
saw
did
this.
it, did. Do you see that meme?
I saw it
Yeah,
the other day. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, it's so good. It's so good. For anyone who hasn't seen it and doesn't know what on earth we're talking about,
Like me.
this is what we're all about on Gamescast Live, talking about stuff we have no idea about.
Fucking man, we're not
Isn't that
gonna have a
right,
better
Brian?
intro than that. I say we start the show.
That's it. All right, let's do it.
Dino says there's nothing wrong with emo. I know that. I know that. Now we need to convince everyone else of that, right?
I love emo.
You and I we're on the same page. And actually,
It's
I
a,
there's
a
plenty of
very
metal that I like. I just like to play the role for funsies.
There's a great emo song about Madison VR. Incredible, incredible.
Nope, AI doesn't count, Miles. AI does not count. I'm sorry to tell you that. This is PSVR Gamescast Live, where we film live every single Wednesday, 6 p.m. Eastern. I'm so glad that I have co-hosts. I woke up to all my co-hosts being like, "Who's on the show today?" And I was like, "I don't know." But if you guys are here, that's awesome. So thank you guys for being here. My name is Brian Popnician, right here without parole, and the gentleman to your right, it is Miles Dyer from YouTube.com/Miles. Miles, what's going on, Miles? If I had a
I
quarter.
was miles away in Germany last week, Gamescom. I met Looper. Looper was there. So thanks, Looper. It's good
Wait.
hanging out.
Wait. Oh, you didn't meet him there because you met him at GameCat Meetup.
No, Looper was at Gamescom.
Got it. Okay. So
But we also met him there as well, though. So twice. Yeah, double the treat.
it took me a
Really,
second,
really-
man. It took me a second.
It's all right.
All right. How was
Um,
Gamescom? Tell us all about it, Miles. How was it?
I mean, it was always interesting, working with like Wes, who obviously wasn't there. It's that whole thing of like, it's terrible. You're not missing out anything, whilst also trying to post stuff about what an awesome time you're having. But look, the reality is, I mean, we were there for Impact Reality and Flat to VR showing off Trombone Champ at this booth, and it was in the home of XR. Which was the most amazing space. It was in the business area, so it wasn't open to the public. So you could only go there if you had a business pass, and to actually enter the home of XR space, you had to have like an invitation. And on the one hand, you might think, oh, that sounds a bit like elitist and stuff, but it's like, it just meant that people who were in that area were there with an intention. And it meant that for all the VR spaces, it wasn't crowded and you had the space for people to play VR. It was my first time going to Gamescom. I didn't get much sleep there, like 2 hours a night. It was really tough. Didn't get to play hardly any games until like the hour after we kind of closed, and then I sort of darted around a lot of the different booths and that. But my summary of it is, it definitely feels like we're in a golden era like how we were with YouTube in 2006, 2007. It's the underdog mentality. We're all believing in this. We know it's inevitable that this is going to become mainstream. It's just a matter of time. And when you consider that within this like home of XR, you had people like Flat to VR Studios, you had Combat Waffle, you had Fast Travel Games, Vertigo Games, Maze Theory, all these developers. I think there were like 15 developers there. End Dreams. It was great, but technically we're all competitors, like different games we're promoting, stuff like that, in quite a small pond that VR is or XR is at the moment. But there was this real sense of solidarity. Like everyone was there to, just promote VR, XR. And the vibes were just incredible. And it was just wonderful meeting a lot of creators. And I found it very emotional just because I was bumping into people from all walks of life. Some people that I hadn't met since Fast Travel Games in January of last year, when you were very kind to send me there, Bryan. And like since then, obviously, I'm doing a bit more in the VR industry now. I just got to meet a lot of people that I've known online but never met in person. So I got to bump into Ian Higton. It was good meeting him and chatting. Met the Digital Foundries, John Linneman, who's always been a good promoter of VR. Got him to check out our booth, and yeah, it was just a real good feel good atmosphere. But then when you sort of go out into the main halls, like I cannot begin to tell you how massive. I mean, even I was feeling anxious at this one. I looked up that San Diego Comic-Con is about like 120, 130,000 people go. I think this year's Gamescom was like 330,000 people. So like you would look into the corridors and I was like, wow, is everyone getting kicked out? No. That's just the flow of people like just moving between places. So I barely went out onto the floors. I think one morning I did like a 30, 40-minute walk around a lot of the rooms. But there were like 10 different halls. So if you can imagine like what PAX East was, I mean, that main hall is massive. I would say it was probably 5 times the size of that at least. Wow. Yeah, it is pretty incredible.
And Wes, how was it not going to Gamescom?
It was lovely, actually. Like, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I wanted to be there, and I tried everything that I could to be there. But the government sucks sometimes, and I couldn't get clearance to leave the country. But with that said, it's been balls to the wall busy at Impact Reality for well over a month. I mean, it's been busy for longer than that, but I mean, it's been nonstop, morning till night. Don't leave the chair busy for weeks and weeks and weeks. So last week, not only was most of the team at Gamescom, but all of the clients that I'm personally responsible for managing, they were all there too. So it was like a nice break from having to deal with some awesome, lovely people on a day in, day out, minute in, minute out basis. So it was a nice break. There was definitely silver lining in not going, but of course I would have loved to have went. It was kind of the coming out party for Flat to VR Studios, and I really regret not being there for that. I'm sure it was special in that way. But you know what I really love about it? I love how quickly the tone changed around VR and Gamescom, because it was just 2 months ago or so that all of the big VR content creators were on Twitter going, hey, we've always been allowed to go to Gamescom in the past, but they've changed the standard. Now we can't get credentialed to get in through the door, and I guess we're just not going to cover it. And we've went from that to the home of XR being erected. And not only did all of those content creators end up getting in there, but Looper ended up getting in there. So I think it's a miraculous 180 that has happened in a very short amount of time. And I think that's pretty cool.
That's fantastic. I got to figure out who was there as me, because I got an email from the Bootstrap Island people being like, Bryan, thank you so much for coming to our booth and checking out Bootstrap Island. We're just curious when we can expect coverage. And I was like, bro, I don't know who you think I am, but I have not left my apartment in months. So
their booth was literally next to ours, so they were sharing it with Maze Theory. I can't remember the name of the devs, but I had a little chat with them. They were super nice.
So is that coming to PlayStation VR2?
According to them, I mean, now this is like information from over a year ago, I believe. But I do think it is coming to PSVR2. That's what they told me like a while ago. But like a lot of other things that they're doing, it's just they got to focus on the Steam version, getting that finished or whatever. So I think so many developers, and I'm sure you've heard this plenty, Wes and Miles. Everybody wants to bring their game to PSVR2. It's like one of those things that's like sort of on their roadmap, but there's so many things that they need to do before that. And a lot of these developers have never made a PlayStation game before, so they have no idea the hurdles that they're about to have to jump through. So they're like, oh, yeah, we want to get it on all platforms. And then they're like, this is a fucking terrible idea. God damn it, Sony sucks.
I wonder if Looper was going around at Gamescom telling people that he was Brian Paul.
I mean, it's not like somebody was going to, stop him. Listen,
you're right. I was just nodding along, going, yeah.
We're practically the same person.
Good point, Brian.
Yeah.
Right
Looper's in the
cue,
chat. He's like,
Looper-
no, I didn't.
Right before that, he said they told me they have PSVR2 plans. So maybe there was some miscommunication and they just thought he was you. But I think we have our culprit.
I'm just glad people think I was there, right? I've got this reputation of being like a homebody, agoraphobic, maybe social anxiety, and it's a reputation. I have that reputation for good reason, right? But if people are just going to walk around and pretend to be me, I can shed that reputation and not have to change a bit, which is like the greatest thing I could possibly think of. Like, I don't have to do anything different, and everyone thinks I'm a much better person than I am.
I will say, Brian, though, all the creators I spoke with, they were all asking, like, is Brian here? Is Brian going to come? Like, you were
It's
definitely
every
missed.
time. It's every time. I tell them this every time I come back from a convention. People are like, "Where's Brian? When's he going to start coming along for the ride?"
Yeah.
And it's not to guilt trip you, because I know PAX East was a massive deal for you and massive cred for that. So from that to, like, as I said, even I was feeling anxious with Gamescom. Like, that was a lot of people. As soon as I went out into that hallway, I was like, I'm going back. I'm going right back.
No, dude, I am trying to turn a lot of things in my life around, and it's in going to these types of conventions, getting an actual passport, going and actually seeing developers and doing this stuff. It's just something that I feel like I need to do because, we have no idea how long this is going to be a thing. And I would love to be able to look back at this time of my life and be like, oh yeah, back when I did YouTube stuff, I went to Japan, I went to New Zealand, I went to this place and that place and Gamescom and whatever conventions. I'm the only one getting in my way at this point. So that will change eventually, slowly making changes in my life for the better.
It's all about steps, and PAX East was a big step. Like, had an event together, hung out for days. Even though it was just down the road, you would say, PAX East itself was a big place. There was a lot of people, and that's very drastic. So, and that was months ago. So already making progress.
All right, guys, let's hit up some of these tips. We got Professor Lilith with the $5 tip saying the Sunday multiplayer survey is up in the Discord. Beat people up in Synth Riders, Legendary Tales, or Pavlov. That's a diverse selection of games. If you guys don't know, over on our Discord, we have a weekly multiplayer gathering. If you get all these multiplayer games that have been sitting in your collection and you just don't have anyone to play with, yes, you do. Yes, you do. Our audience, our community is fucking amazing, and you get to play these multiplayer games in full lobbies and not have to worry about a bunch of squeakers ruining the game for you, or people just being ridiculous. So that is always a good thing. Let's see, Synth Riders, Legendary Tales, Pavlov, go vote. I think my vote would have to be Legendary Tales. I just want an excuse to get back in that game, honestly. I haven't played it since the review was over, I think. But I want to play it more. Jim Perona with the $5 tip says, advice for you guys' new band. The first thing you need is a name, and then you'll know what kind of band you've got. I think we should name the band Mark. Is anybody okay with naming the band Mark?
That's pretty emo. I like it.
Great. Now we know what kind of music
it's a very meta name. True. I like it though because it has multiple meanings, right? It could be just like the name Mark, or like it's
Skid
also
Skid Mark.
There you go.
Yeah.
Mark on paper. Plus, you could be. It's a name for like the victim of a con artist. If somebody's running a con on you, you're the Mark.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, see, I figure I spell my name with a K, so we'll spell the band name with the C.
And to make it super emo sounding, you want a word in front of it like dear. Dear Mark.
Okay.
That sounds pretty good.
All right. There's no one else getting the Empire Records joke, but that's okay, JP. You and me got it. Nihilus Ryan, the game feline with the $5 tip, says Sony should be a band so it can tell everyone big things coming without any explanation whatsoever. Sony should be a band so it can tell everyone big things coming. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I feel like there's something there I'm missing. But you guys heard the rumors, right? You got to love rumors about Sony showcases and state of plays, right? It sounds like it's coming late September, which sort of makes sense, right? I mean, there's a PS5 Pro supposedly coming. They haven't announced any big games for a while, so I think it's right around the right time, and it comes from, I think, Jeff Grubb and what's Tom Henderson, people who are fairly trustworthy.
Yeah, those are reputable sources, and it makes sense. I've been expecting this. I hadn't heard the rumor, by the way, and typically these days I just kind of disregard them when I hear them because we've heard them so many times and turn out not to be true. But it makes sense. I do believe that console is coming this holiday season, and obviously they're going to want to really show people what they've been working on in order to sell it. This could be why they've been holding back. I don't mean for VR, but I mean in general. They could have been saving all of their big first party announcements to sell a new console later this year. So that all makes sense to me. And yeah, it lines up perfectly. September is kind of when everything breaks loose, late September, early October.
Yeah. I feel like I'm so easy to please recently too. Like it's like you just need to announce one big PSVR2 game a year, Sony, right? Like, and whether that be a third party game that you funded or a first party game, like just one a year, man, right? And then at the end of the lifespan, we'll be like, oh my god, I can't believe we got 7 first party games. They were so amazing, you know. GC13, the Diet Pepsi Cat with the $5 tip, says, Tippy Poo Train, is Brian sick of this joke yet? Brian was sick of this joke the second you started it, but thanks for the $5. I'll take it and pretend like this never happened.
Tippy Poo.
Yeah. Also, we look fucking tired, you guys. Like, we are a tired looking group of individuals right now. Just had to say it. Paradise Decay was PD
as well.
Was PD at Gamescom?
Yes, he was. I stayed in an Airbnb with him.
Really?
And does
he snore?
He's one hell of a character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I need more. Talk to me.
He had a carton of milk and he took it to the Meta dinner and he left it in the pub in the bar, and I think half of the milk was left in it, he told us. And so on the taxi home we basically played 20 questions, but it was me asking him questions about the milk carton.
Well, this tip makes a lot more sense now because Paradise Decay with the 2 quid says, Miles, we need milk. 20 questions later.
Yeah.
Okay.
If anyone ever needs milk, Paradise Decay is your man. Or VR tips. But
was it cow milk
tips as well? That was one of the 20 questions. I asked what... Yeah, there we go. That was it. I asked... It was cow milk, yeah.
All right. Man, it's so old-fashioned. There's so many different types of milk now. It's like, who the fuck's drinking actual cow milk? The answer is me until like a month ago.
There's one milk, and then there's a bunch of other stuff that's pretending to be milk.
That's true.
Listen, I drink soy milk and I fucking love it. But I will say
like almond milk.
I will say almond milk is just like a mystery to me. I'm like, I've eaten almonds before, man. Like, how are you getting milk out of that shit? I'm so confused by the whole thing. Very confusing.
And then, almond milk is just when they feed the cow a load of almonds, right? And then they milk it. It's amazing. Good.
Oh, is that what it is? I had no idea. This is why 20 questions should not be about milk. What's up, son? WTF gifted 5 without parole memberships. I saw all those come into the chat earlier. Thank you so much for that. I didn't know who it was. Now I do. Love you guys.
Thank you.
Jacob Zenner with the $2 tip says West in the radius. Oh, that's what your background is. You are into the radius.
Yep. I am in the radius. Yeah.
Nice. Dude, that is there's I mean we're sort of in the last kind of dead zone, right? Before the onslaught of games that are coming. But man, like, what is it? Is it Into the Radius and Chernobyl Again that are kicking things off, like that are starting things up? super excited to play Into the Radius, man. Like I feel like it's been a while since the last time I played a game that I'm really like going to spend 20 hours in, like really immerse myself. I think Arcade Paradise was about as close as I got. Even Compound, I think I only spent 10 hours in before I reviewed it. So I'm excited for Into the Radius.
Think about it. I can't wait to hear what you think about it. Like after you actually have put 8 to 10 hours in it, and you start to see some of the other enemies that aren't at the beginning, and yeah, it's going to be cool.
You mean there's enemies that aren't the It Follows character?
No, they're all very similar. Well, but yeah, they have different behaviors. And
I died on the spiders one, like the fucking. It was like the second enemy you encounter. It was like they're like almost like spiders, and they kind of jump at you and they move very quickly. And I was like, whoa, 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 whoa! This is only like my second or third mission. Like you got to ramp up to this shit. And and then I was like, well, at least there's only one. And then I turned around, there's like 5 more, and I was like, I'm so fucked.
Those things are really hard to. They're really hard to deal with for quite a while. But then after you finally figure out how to deal with them, they're actually pretty easy.
Oh, good. Well, I'm gonna hit you up for some tips before I get the PSVR2 version in my hands. Talking with those guys right now, trying to see what we can do special on the channel. I feel like I feel like sometimes things get very rote around here. Where it's like, oh, it's Wednesday, we're doing Gamescast. Oh, it's Friday night, got to get PSVR this week out. And then it's just like, oh, there's a new game coming out. Did Bryan get a review done? It's just like these beats that just happen all the time, and then you just kind of get into this monotony, which is good. I mean, like I love schedules, and I love like expecting things. I love waking up every other Sunday morning and turning on YouTube and expecting a new GameSack video, right? Like there's things that like you just are happy are there when they're supposed to be there. But I want to do something special. I think Into the Radius is going to be something great. So I'm talking to those guys and seeing what we can do special for the cats. I will keep you posted as that conversation evolves.
Nice.
The Game Cat Andrew Ehrenreich with a $2 tip says, "Hey Andrew, that's it. That's the whole tip. Thanks, bud. Hey. Burbercat says I sucked them up in the vacuum cleaner. They like it in there. What? Is he talking about real spiders?
Yeah, I do the same.
My God. Oh my God, this Bootstrap Island trailer has been playing the entire time. It's fucking crazy.
Coconut milk on that bit.
Coconut milk. I completely forgot there were other like types of natural milk out there. Did we forget any?
Yep.
I feel like there's going to be people in the chat who are very not happy.
Whatever cows eat, if they eat coconut, you get coconut milk. Whatever. That's just how it works.
So I like the ones that eat chocolate.
Yes.
Nice.
Dutch chocolate specifically.
Yeah, agreed.
I just wondered how we did
or
that.
Strawberries.
That reminds me. I've got one of those in the refrigerator.
What, a cow?
Yeah. Dutch chocolate cow.
Oh, nice.
What
about?
All right, you guys. We got 2 viewer takeover questions. However, we're going to wrap them into the big conversation that's happening in just a minute here. Remember, you can leave viewer takeover questions if you don't want to spend any money, if you don't want to tip during the show. To get your comments into it, just head over to the Discord, click the link in the description below, and post your questions in the viewer takeover channel. We're going to be addressing both of these. First one comes from Primal Sage. Here's hashtag viewer takeover. Do you expect any of the big games for December to actually release this year? I always suspect December games of being postponed. The interesting thing about that is I think there's only one game that's slated for December. I think Alien is the only game that's actually got a December release date. My bigger question would be, are all the games that are supposedly coming this year that don't have release dates yet, are those actually coming out? But Primal Sage, we're about to talk about all the games that are still slated for the rest of this year. And I think part of the conversation should definitely be, do we think they're actually coming? I think that'll be fun. And then Rypop with his viewer takeover question says, hashtag viewer takeover, with all the big higher profile games coming out toward the end of the year, which percentage of them do you think will be good? What a fucking amazing segue, you guys. What an amazing segue. Because here's what we're going to do. Before the show, I hung out with the people I trust most, and not these guys. Some people in the Discord. Yeah.
Oh yeah, we didn't hang out. I forgot that.
We're hanging out now. These were people I hung out with earlier.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
So and they were amazingly beneficial. This whole segment would have gone horribly wrong if it wasn't for them. So shout out to everybody who helped me out. But we've got. Do you guys bring up this link on your computers? The tier maker list.
Yes.
Got it.
All right, good. Excellent. So what we're going to do, we're going to rank all these games from S tier down to D tier, and we're just going to go one by one, man. I think we're going to go in alphabetical order. Screw the release dates, because a lot of these don't actually have release dates. They're just supposedly coming in 2024. So going in order would be absolutely ridiculous. And we're going to rank.
So
Yes.
I have a question. And you probably were about to answer it, so I apologize for talking over you.
Probably not.
Are we ranking this on our level of hype for each game, or are we ranking it on the level of quality that we're anticipating the game to?
B, not A. So our hype level is pretty irrelevant. I think what we're doing here is speculating on the quality of the game. Do we think it's going to be, like I would say like A and S tier should be reserved for games that are like, 8.5 or higher type thing. And then we get to B, and that's like, between 7.5 and 8.5 type thing. Just vague, but but yeah, based on the quality of the game. And we definitely want to hear from everybody in the chat. Looper says, I can't speak about my level of excitement about Arizona Sunshine Remake yet. You can't speak about it? Are you under embargo? Am I under embargo as you? Can you tell me about it, or is that not allowed under embargo?
Bryan Paul's under embargo. Yeah.
Right. Vertigo Games just sent me an email, be like, hey, thanks for stopping by our booth and playing Arizona Sunshine Remake. I'm like, we figured it out. We figured this shit out. Looper, we need to talk. I'm just kidding, obviously. All right. Any other questions about how we're going to do this?
Just that I love how the chat will always keep riding with a particular topic, and they're still talking about milk.
Yeah. Some things don't change. I love it. All right. I wonder if this will show all the games on screen. Oh, this is perfect. Yeah, I think this is okay. This is almost all the games on screen. That's pretty good.
Perfect.
All right, you guys. Let's start with the very first one on the list. It's Aces of Thunder. Obviously, this thing looks like it reeks of quality. It sounds like it's been delayed, maybe internally for as long as it needed to be. They're talking about adding single player missions to a game that is primarily multiplayer. Wes, kick it off, man. Tell me your thoughts on this game and where you think it belongs.
Yeah, I'm kind of on the line here. I think in terms of quality that it's definitely an A tier game. Could even be an S tier game in terms of production. It looks great from the footage we've seen. I remain skeptical about the amount and level of single player missions in the game, and that's a big deal for me. I think that what's in there will probably be good. But I'm afraid that it might just be a few tacked on levels like Ace Combat 7, for example. They give us something like that with multiplayer, on top of it, which is not what I want. I want a full-fledged story campaign that I can play through and have fun with. So, yeah, I'll call it an A tier just because it does look so good in terms of quality-wise, and like the measurables look off the chart here. But I am a little concerned about it.
Miles, do you have the same concerns that Wes does?
I do, and that's actually why I was going to be putting it in. I'm basically between A and B on this one,
Right.
And so I was leaning towards A, and then as Wes started talking and I was nodding in agreement, I was like, actually, yeah, maybe it's more of a B, and then he goes for an A. This is always difficult early on in this because a lot of it is relative, isn't it? With everything else we've got coming up,
we can move stuff. We can move stuff as we go. It's not. We're not going to lock it into place. If
I'm going to vote for B at the moment, just because I do think it is going to be high quality in visuals and that. But there's a lot of games I've played that have been high quality in visuals, and I know it's not the only thing you should judge a game on. But for me, it's like, what's one that's going to keep me coming back it could be a game that I'm like, oh, this looks great, but then I never touch it again. I don't know. I'm an A/B, but I'll go for B, and then I'll let you have the deciding vote, Brian.
All right.
That's
Well,
exactly where I'm at.
I,
A/B.
I may push you guys into A because I was thinking S/A, right? Because
Oh, interesting.
because honestly, I don't want to get my personal preferences involved into this too much. I mean, obviously that will contribute to my thoughts on each game and what I think the quality level will be for me personally. But honestly, I think even if it was mostly multiplayer and has very few, if any, single player stuff, like no actual campaign and just like a few levels thrown in there, if it's fun, I feel like we don't really have that Firewall 0 hour game for PSVR2 yet that makes me go, man, I just want to keep getting back in there and I want to like play round after round after round after round. And I feel like this could be that game, right? Like it's not a first person shooter, but it's first person flight sim. And if the multiplayer is good enough, then like I kind of don't even care if the single player stands up. And so I that's kind of where it's hovering for me, and I think that and the quality just looks so good that
Yeah.
as long as everything else comes together, man, and it just seems like they're taking all the time that they need. So I was going between S and A. So is it cool if we throw it into A? Kind of
I'd be really happy with. I like how it balances out there. So,
higher
yeah.
for you guys, but lower for me.
Right where I put it, on A.
Perfect. All right. The next one's Affected the Asylum. How much do we know about this game, you guys?
I know nothing other than I played, obviously, the PSVR game that went to PSVR2, Affected the Manor, and I was blown away by it. It's a very simple game, but I think it's one of the best haunted house experiences I've ever had. And it's actually a game that I put first-time players into VR into because it's just very simple, and it's got really great world building. The environments look awesome. The scares are legit, and there's some really awesome changes to your environment, which can really throw you off. So you're asking me if I know anything about this, and I'm telling you about another game. Yeah. But like, if this is the evolution, this hasn't been released at all yet, right? This is not a port from another platform.
Nope.
That's right.
So for me, it's like based on what they've done before, and I know this game isn't going to be for everyone. For me, this is. I would say this is an A for me.
Just because your thoughts were mostly about their prior game, Fallen Planet's previous game, I do want to add, make sure that we're all aware. Two things. One, this game was supposed to come out last year. It was originally scheduled for 2023, and they were like, and so when we were making this list today and trying to figure out which games belonged in this chart and say, oh, which games do we think are coming out, is like, this is very much like Behemoth, where it was like, oh, it was supposed to come out last year and it got a full year delay, and we're waiting for them to say, hey, this is when it's coming out. We can only assume it's coming out in October. So that's number one. They gave, just like Ace of Thunder, I feel like they're giving this game as much time as it needs to be good. The other part is that it's 4-player co-op. One of the things they show in the trailer is everybody runs to the wall and grabs a flashlight off the wall, and then they go and exploring together. And so I have more questions than answers about this game. But the fact that it's this multiplayer horror game in lieu of Phasmophobia like looming over us, are they going to lean into the fact that you're there with other people, or are they just going to kind of do the same thing they did the first time and say, walk through this haunted house, but now with friends?
Yeah.
Right?
That's the question, right? Is it a game? Is it more than 90 minutes? If so, then yeah, it's absolutely going to be an A tier or better. But I'm not convinced that that's going to be the case. It might just be a true sequel to the original, which was great for what it was, but it did have problems in terms of scope.
Yeah.
Not not that it's bad in any way. It's great. I really enjoyed it. But can you really call something A tier that's 90 minutes and has limited interactivity? So I'm going to park it in. I'm going to park it in B. But if it is, 3 or 4 hours and is an actual game, then this could easily be an A in my mind. Like I believe that the quality will be there in terms of production. Affected was great for its time, or the Manor was great for its time,
Mhm.
and everything that we've seen of this looks like even way better than the original. So,
Yep.
I expect that this is going to be great. I just, in terms of scope, I don't know how much we're getting here.
I'm generally with you guys. I think that this is going to be. I listen. The thing that's most important to me about this is that it's scary, right? If you're making a haunted house simulator, it better be scary. And I am shocked how well they managed to do that with Affected the Manor. They did not let you breathe very long without scaring you again,
No.
right? And it was like these constant jump scares, the building of tension. Like this is what a haunted house is all about. And so that's why I have faith in this, because no matter what it turns out to be, no matter how many gameplay elements they actually include or what the multiplayer consists of, I still think it's going to be fucking scary. And for me, that's what's most important. But I am with Wes, where he's like, oh yeah, it's probably going to be short and may not have a bunch of replayability. And until we get those questions answered, I am down with it being in B.
I think
Yeah.
that's what the multiplayer is going to give it, is replayability. You know, I probably will play it single player the first time that I play it,
To make it scary as possible.
to make it scary, right? Because I think it'll be a laughing fest with people in there with me. But I think that the fact that you can bring people in there with you will likely give it a lot of replayability, because I probably won't go with a group of 4 ever, except unless I do it with you guys or something for the show. It'll probably be something that I often bring one person with me,
Yeah.
and keep that number down, but still experience it with someone. That could still have some scare factor.
I think we all said B, right?
I said A, but I'd be happy with a B. Like after what you guys said, I think I went too high with A.
It's all right. Well,
What are you drinking, Brian?
what's up?
What you drink? Oh, what's Wes drinking now?
Wes is drinking chocolate cow.
Oh my goodness! I love the conversation. Is still talking about milk. Unbelievable.
Oh,
They need to make a milk VR game. Clearly, there's a demand for it now.
we lost these cats like 30 minutes ago. We're not getting them back.
Across the valley, you can milk. There's a milking mini game, and it's all about precision.
It is. Across the valley. Totally underrated.
Those devs were at Gamescom, and I didn't meet them. I was so annoyed.
Oh, Conrad was there?
So annoyed. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, he oh no, you know what? He'd messaged me before and asked me if I was going to be there. I don't know what they were showing off.
I think they had a new game. They didn't tell me what they didn't publicly talk about it. I don't know what it was. They told me what their booth number was, and it was just one of those things of the last day of just you're like, oh my goodness, I've missed it. But yeah, hopefully more milk mini games. That'd be good, because there's clearly a demand.
Obviously.
As we said.
All right, you guys, we got a big one next. It is Alien Rogue Incursion. Oh,
this is going to be a good one to talk about because.
Yep.
Oh man,
bro,
I can
tell you right now, hype level is at an S, but that's not what we're ranking here. Right?
Yep.
I desperately want to play an Aliens game in VR, and they're giving us one. But this is all about quality. Is it going to be any good? Miles, tell me.
I think it's going to be an A, just because of the context of like, I know you can say it with The Walking Dead and stuff, but I just feel that Servius have gone on quite a journey, and again, I'm talking about motivation stuff. Of course, developers always want to make the best game, but this has been a game we've spoken about this already with others. It's been in the making for a long time, and I don't know. I just feel something in the air, dude. Like Alien Romulus just came out. It was not a perfect movie, but it was a damn solid Alien movie. I just have a feeling, man, that I feel it in my chest bursting out that it's going to be a good year for Alien fans. And the footage I've seen, I mean, the only thing I've seen in the footage that I didn't like was there was a few times where when you sort of saw the xenomorphs moving around, there was a couple of times where they turned and it's like they looked like a game in that moment. The turning wasn't so fluid. But like when they're going across the walls and stuff, And also, when you're in that space, you're not going to give a shit if they're turning around not quite fully fluently. You're going to be like, I need to kill it now. So, yeah, dude. This has been the big conversation we've had is like, are they going to knock it out the park? I think if we think they're going to knock it out the park, then you are going to vote for an S. I think it has the potential for that. I'm not entirely sure, but I'm putting hopes on this. I think it's going to be a solid title. And I think playing it as an Alien fan, that could mean that I'm going to be playing a B-rated game, but enjoying it like it's an A-rated. So I'm going to give it an A.
Yeah. I like what you said, because I feel like I'm going to like this game no matter how bad it is. Right?
Just existing in the Alien world in VR is going to be remarkable.
Right. Like there will be things about it I don't like. I'm sure about that. I'm absolutely sure about that. There's no way this is going to be like a 10 out of 10 game, but I mean, it could be. But that's not what I'm thinking. I do think, like again, if we were on the hype scale, this is an S all day, every day, because it's just something I've been wanting to play, somewhere I want to be. And especially like, I know people are like not thrilled. They'd rather have Alien Isolation than this game. And I get it, right? Because Alien Isolation was great, but there's something about the fact that we haven't played this before. We have no idea what's in store. It's going to be a little scarier because of that. That makes me go, okay. This is what's making it more difficult to separate my feelings from what I think the level of quality is going to be, right? And so I want to play it safe and put it in B, but I also want to be optimistic and put it in A. This is, I don't know. Did you give me a letter, Miles?
I said an A.
Okay. Wes?
I think it's going to be A. I think it'll probably be a high A. You know who else loves a high A? Never mind. I think that this is going to be a cinematic, scary action game, and I think that you need one more dimension on top of everything I said to be an S tier game. I think it's going to be a top-notch production. I think that it's going to be very fun to play. I think it is going to be scary at times. For it to be an S tier game, it would either need to have just top-notch story and storytelling, which I'm not convinced it will. I think there will be some backstory. I think there will be some cutscenes. I don't think it's going to be the type of story that really sucks you in and you feel like you're a part of it. This is just what I feel like. But if it doesn't have that, it would need to have some pretty deep progression, like weapon upgrades, character upgrades, exploration, these sorts of things. And I don't think it's going to have that either. I think this is going to be like a Half-Life Alyx or an Arizona Sunshine in terms of the depth of gameplay, and where a game like Half-Life Alyx has that story and storytelling that really made it an S tier game. I don't think that this game will have that. It could, and I hope it does. I think it's going to be very fun, and I think that we're going to love it. But I don't think it's going to be the best of the best. So yeah.
Yeah, you're right. It's the difference, isn't it, between feeling like I'm in an Alien game and I'm in the world of Alien. And I don't mean that in terms of the environment, because I think you will feel like you're in the world of Alien. But the story, you want to feel like, oh no, I am this character. And to be honest, I think there is a huge potential for that because it's based on a comic book character. There's a lot of lore and love that's gone into it. But I share that concern. When you're in it, it's going to be like, am I having a fun time in the Alien universe that I'm getting scared? Or are you going to go through it and being like, oh no, I literally feel like I'm in Alien and I'm carrying this story? And I think that will swap it between the A and the S rank too.
Yeah, I mean, listen, the biggest concern about this isn't, is that it's coming from Survios. But I think we need to also be realistic about that. And that Survios has always made fun games. I don't think there's ever been a Survios game where I've been like, this is just not fun at all, right? I think Walking Dead Onslaught is the closest we got to that, and there were still some really cool elements about that. I actually like the time stuff where the horde of zombies was sort of this timer, even if it looked silly. And so I think they've always made good games and fun games. And so if the biggest concern I have about this is that it's coming from Survios, that's not too bad, right? So, so I'm down to put it in A if you guys are.
And that's it. That's the one.
All right, and guys, don't
Are we
worry.
halfway there now, Brian?
Don't
Halfway there?
don't worry about the time, you guys. People in the chat worrying about it's gonna
It's
take
right,
all
let's talk about
night, man.
milk.
It's gonna take all
Let's talk about
night.
milk. It's all good.
Where do you have to be? Hey, we're putting on a free show for you guys. Fucking come on. Like, we'll take our time, man. Make this good. Already dead.
Agreed.
Already dead, you guys. This is this is the Resident Evil looking game. Remember this?
Oh yeah, I need to look this up again.
Yeah, feel free.
Looking at the trailer.
Listen, I I don't think this is going to be great. I'm excited to play it on a Brian Paul hype scale. I think that this is easily in the A category just because it's something I'd like to play in VR. I don't think it's going to be terribly good. I think I could put this in C and not even blink and worry about that.
Agree. That's exactly where I have it. Like, I think it'll be something that I enjoy personally, but I expect that it will be janky and good, not great. So I think it's going to be a very average or maybe even a little bit below average game. So I think C's right where it belongs.
You watching the trailer?
Yeah,
over there,
I'm
Miles?
looking at the trailer. I was like a third of the way, and he just picks up a lighter.
Yep.
Yeah. It looks interesting. So a lot of people nodding at each other. I'm not sure I need a nodding head simulator game, but
I mean, we're already kind of doing that right now, right?
VR Pigeons was quite good for that.
Or maybe we're just bobbleheads. Okay. C? You okay with C?
Yeah,
Yep,
C,
yep,
man.
yep.
C.
CC. Puerto Puesto.
C.
All right. Arizona Sunshine Remake, the game we didn't know we needed until they announced it. I mean, this looks like it's just Arizona Sunshine 1 with all the DLC, right, and all the updates, but in the Arizona Sunshine 2 engine. And I mean, as far as I'm concerned, Arizona Sunshine 2 is the perfect 7.5, maybe 8 out of 10 game. Just like we're walking around and killing zombies. It's like we just get to do more of that. I'm down.
Well, I mean, Arizona Sunshine has a close place in my heart because it was one of the first domestic headset games I played. It was Job Simulator, then Raw Data when my brother had a HTC Vive. My experience with Arizona Sunshine, the first one, was I love this game, but the controls are so janky with the move controllers and that, and reloading. And so my thought is, if they're fixing this with the new engine, so all those things are going to be fixed, then this is going to be... Because I always felt when I played Arizona Sunshine 2, this is obviously a better built game because of the engine and the zombie destruction as you shoot them and the weapons and that. But I always felt... Maybe it's just nostalgia, which feels weird saying that about a VR game because VR is still in its infancy. But I always felt that Arizona Sunshine I had a better time with overall. And so if, for that reason, Arizona Sunshine... having all that fixes with the new engine, for me, it's going to be an A rank game. But yeah,
that's kind of where I'm at too, and I love Arizona Sunshine. But and if it were on a hype, basis, I'm probably S tier hyped to play this, because Arizona Sunshine 2, the weapons and the gore, physics and everything that it has going on is really a big step up from the original Arizona Sunshine. So this is going to be a better version of a game I already love. But I think kind of but that apply to this are kind of the same thing that I just said about Alien. It's not going to have a super deep, compelling story. It isn't going to have a very deep progression or anything like that. It's just going to be a fun game to get in and go through with a friend and really enjoy tearing these zombies to shreds. I mean, there's going to be melee in it now that we didn't have that before. There's probably even going to be a dog if I had to guess. But yeah, I think A is a good spot for that for me.
Listen, if this was Arizona Sunshine 2, I would have put it in B. But this is, I always thought that the locations, especially with the DLC included, the locations in Arizona Sunshine 1 was better than 2. I enjoyed it more. and like with the mines and which being like the second area you get into, I believe. And then there was and then the dam DLC, which is like felt very different for Arizona Sunshine.
Yeah.
I just think that that's all so much better than what we got in Arizona Sunshine too. That this pushes it into A for me. I think it's might be the better of the two games. So let's do it. A it is. All right, guys, this is a big one for me. Vitruvius Games' next game, Arken Age. This is I think, as far as speculation goes, this is the ultimate in speculation, right? Because we're guessing how good these games are going to be based on the trailers and based on what we've heard and based on the pedigree of the developers. But this is the biggest leap forward any of these developers have taken. Right, going from Mervils to Shadow Legend to Arken Age. But the trailer looks great. The trailer looks great, and these guys, to me, just understand VR, and I think I'm putting on so much faith in the studio that it makes me nervous, and so like I want to put this like in A, possibly even S, but I need you guys to talk me down off of that ledge. I feel like maybe I'm being a little too optimistic.
Well, allow me to do just the opposite of that. I think this is the S tier game.
Nice.
Interesting.
I'm very excited for it. It seems like it has it checks all the boxes, right? It's a beautiful game. It's original. It seems like it's going to have diversity of gameplay. The one thing it probably won't have is a super compelling story, but I think that it is going to have the type of progression I've been describing these other games not having for the last 5 minutes. I think that this is going to be an excellent game, and it's going to be a game of the year contender. But yeah, you're good point. It is all speculation, but most of this is all speculation. So yeah, I'm on S for this one.
All right, well that didn't help me at all. Miles.
Yeah, I haven't, and I know we're not talking about hype, but hype is a big part when you're doing the early considerations of the trailer. I wasn't as hyped about this game as everyone else with the trailers, but from the context of what they're trying to make in that, I think it's going to clearly be an excellent game. For me, it's I would put it as an A. It's definitely not an S for me. I think it's going to be a really, really solid game. And it seems to have a lot of good scope to it, so I can't see it being a B ranking. So yeah, it's a very concise answer for me, but it's an A.
I wish we had some tiers between the tiers, like A+, B+, that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
Right. I think we need that. I think you're
Should we
right.
restart the stream? Let's do it again.
Yeah. No, it's okay. It's okay. I'm okay moving it down to A. Like I said, I feel like so much of my excitement for this game is based on my enthusiasm for the studio, and so Wes, if you're down putting this in A,
By all means, I'm just one man.
hey,
You are Legion. So I give you the right of way here.
well, I feel like even if we average a 2 S's and an A, that does kind of put it more in the S category than the A category. All right, fuck you, Miles. We're putting it in S because
Do it.
Yep, there's going to be some irrational behavior here tonight, and this is the beginning of it. Speaking of irrational behavior, we got Behemoth next, guys. This last trailer that we saw for Behemoth solidified it for me. I know, Wes, you've already played it, so you've got a better feel for what this game is going to actually play like moment to moment. But as far as I'm concerned,
Solid D.
this is
D rating.
yeah,
Solid D.
maybe D+.
If they're lucky.
Yeah, this is letting me. This looks like it's going to let me live my Shadow of the Colossus VR dreams that I've been dying for. Right, like Sony, where is this? Like, this is what we want. Give it to us. And so, I mean, for me, there's no question. It already looks amazing. The grappling mechanic looks super versatile, allowing you to get around however you want to. Lots of climbing, dude. But then the actual colossi or the behemoths themselves, like, I don't know, man. I don't think I could be any more hyped about a game. This is an S for me.
They didn't invite me to their booth at Gamescom, so it's a definite D.
Yeah.
Big D.
No, big D, big fan. You know who else has a big D? Is that what you're gonna say, Wes? You know what's a big D? Yeah.
Yes, she does.
Yeah, clip it. Right. I think that this is going to be an S ranking game. My feeling about it at the moment is My feeling from everything I've seen so far is it's an A/S, but when you consider who's making this game and their track record, this is clearly going to be something of immense quality.
Immense D.
And the first impressions we've heard have been excellent, and we haven't been shown everything yet. So for me, this is an S ranks game.
This is my big regret for not going to Gamescom, is that they were demoing this there. And, you know, obviously I've already played a demo, and I assumed when I got the email invite to demo this at Gamescom that it would be the
You got
exact
it, did
same
you?
demo.
You got the invite. Okay, nice.
I did. I had assumed it would be the same demo that I already played, so I just kind of brushed it off. And now on the back end of Gamescom, I'm learning that that's not what it was. The thing that they showed in the last trailer, that was the demo that they were doing at Gamescom, and that's probably my biggest regret of not being there, because I would have loved to play that. This is S tier for me, and it's kind of difficult because I feel like a lot of the things that I dinged those, you know, Alien and Arizona Sunshine on kind of hold here. I don't expect the story's going to be super complex and deep here. I think it's going to have a backstory that kind of unfolds as you go. I do think there's going to be some progression here, but I don't think it's going to be like a super deep progression system here. What it is going to have, though, in addition to just like top notch production value, it's bringing us something that we've never had in VR before. Something that's so perfect for VR that it's unbelievable that it's never been done before. But VR has needed this game since its onset. So the fact that we're getting this now, and the fact that we're going to be able to climb massive enemies that are the size of skyscrapers, and yeah, I think this is going to be an excellent game, and it definitely deserves to be S tier.
Excellent. It's going to be an excellent game.
What up,
Excellent
World of Long Plays? World of Long Plays is in the chat. Says, I played Behemoth at Gamescom. It was basically VR Shadow of the Colossus. Could be good. Yeah, that's the hope. That is definitely the hope. S tier it is. Guys, real quick, let's knock out a couple of these tips. We got Thundercat with the 2 quid says milk. I would also like to respond by saying milk, lemonade. Milk, lemonade. JPEG Q with the $5 tip says, I concur with the other comments. West tier, capital S, West tier VR games. I vote that that's now an official new term, like VRAF. West tier. I do not
like it.
I do not. I will not argue with that. That sounds wonderful. All right, let's move along. What do we got next? What is the next game on this list? Chernobyl Again just recently got a release date and a new trailer. I believe it's coming out September, 19th, 13th, something like that. It is right around the corner. It's only a couple weeks away. Wes, I think again you're the one that's actually played this game. You played the demo on Steam, but I don't know. So maybe let's use that as a jumping off point for the ranking.
I did play the demo a little bit. I didn't finish the demo, so I only have a very basic, understanding of the game and how it's going to be. With that said, I'm going to call this a high B. I think it definitely has the potential to be an A tier game. It's got some really solid progression values. I like the structure and type of game it is. It's a nice puzzle adventure game. I love these type of first person puzzle adventures. I think they're good. I think that there's a real indiness to this that is going to hold it back from the top tiers. Like, it's going to have some jank to it. The voice acting and the UI is not going to be top tier. But it's very good. I didn't see anything when I was playing it that I said, that's just not good. Everything was good. So I think I'm going to put it in B. But it definitely could end up being an A by the time I get finished playing it,
Yeah. Are you watching the trailer right now, Miles?
No, I've already seen it.
Yeah. What do you think?
And I mean, I'm again. I was from what I saw, I was very hyped. It looks stunning. It looks visually great. But as we know, VR games aren't always about what they look like visually.
Yeah.
It's about the immersion. In some ways, is being able to look around at the environment you're in, and then the immersion is the way that you interact with it. And so I can only go based on what Wes had mentioned in terms of like. Might be a bit of jank here and there. You know, you can be in a really beautiful room, try and open a door and struggle with it. And then that straight away, it's just like, yeah, okay, I feel like I'm in a game again. So I don't know. I kind of want to sort of put my hands up and go, I don't have a score for this. But Wes, you were saying it was a B, right?
Yeah, that's where I put it.
I'd go for a B.
Yeah, I'm hoping it to be. You know, I can deal with a little bit of jank.
Yeah.
You know, especially when it seems like this is going to be primarily a puzzle game, escape the room style game. You know, means that there's going to be like less locomotion and stuff. But like, I'm hoping that the inventory and everything is easy to deal with. If that's kind of escape room game that we're dealing with, picking up a lot of items and using them and accessing them. Like I just hope it all just sort of works.
That's exactly what it is. Like all right, I need to get into the control room. Oh, the door's locked. There's no key, so let's go find a crowbar.
Yeah.
So let's examine the level and find the crowbar and come back and now pry the door open. It's one of those type of games.
Good. I mean that's I need one of those games. I feel like for a minute there that is kind of like wave shooters, kind of like experiences. These were we were getting a lot of puzzle games, escape room games for a while, and it was like, but those games have been gone for a while as well, and so now I'm like getting nostalgic for them and saying, oh yeah, I'd really like one of those again. And so if Chernobyl Again ends up being a B, that'll make me real happy.
Let it be, Brian.
Whisper words of wisdom. Cold VR, the opposite of super hot VR.
Oh, it was that one. Yeah.
What do you think, Miles?
I mean, I just feel like I don't think it's going to be a bad game. I mean, Paint the Town Red, for example, was a game that I thought this will be a bit gimmicky, and I found it to be a lot more engaging than I first gave it credit for.
Yeah.
And there are going to be some games on this list that I'm going to rank highly, which people are like, really? Like, because it's always in comparison to like Capcom games and, really like AAA games. But the reality is there can be simple games that are very engaging. Man, I don't know. I'm going to say a B. Yeah, I'm going to go with a B.
Wes, correct me if I'm wrong. You've actually played this game before.
You are wrong. I have not played this game.
Oh, well then we're going to be guessing.
This is it.
All right. What do you think, Wes? Where does this fall for you?
B. No, I think it's a solid B. Like, I think it'll be okay. It'll be fun. I think it'll be good, not great. I've seen a lot of footage of it. Like, I know what the game is, and it is the exact opposite of Super Hot. But this exact opposite of Super Hot does not appear to be as compelling as the mechanic in Super Hot. It just seems a bit clumsy, the fact that you have to constantly move. I mean, it's the opposite of Super Hot, right? You had to be very deliberate and strategic with Super Hot. And in this, you're just running constantly so you don't get hit and trying to get to the enemies and not run out of ammo or weapons. So like there's like zero strategy to this. It's just running around and hitting enemies. But that said, it has a cool vibe. Like the art looks cool. The little story bits with the guy in the lab seem pretty cool. I dig all of that. I think it'll be just a solid average game. I think B's where it goes.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. I completely agree with the thought, having not played it and just seeing the game and knowing how it works. I really like the idea about behind Super Hot, where it felt like, every move you had to be really conscious of and look around and make sure that there wasn't an enemy coming at you unexpectedly or that a bullet was coming. And so like you slowed it down to the point where like this feels like, a slow motion puzzle game almost. And all of that goes away when it's just this nonstop frantic movement in order to keep the enemies from from activating. So I think it's gonna be fun. I don't think it's gonna have like that same classic quality Super Hot had. I would love if they just said fuck it and they just threw a Super Hot mode into the game. Be like, whatever. Like,
Well, I don't know if you saw that newest fast travel game, Action Hero, that just debuted last week.
oh yeah,
That is 1-for-1 Super Hot. Their core mechanic is the time moves when you move, and it's the same type of deal where you've got enemies, and they've actually added to and built upon the foundation of Super Hot with big set pieces and a wide variety of different themes in the levels. But it's essentially, in terms of gameplay, it's Super Hot. So that I would be ranking higher than this when we get confirmation that it's actually coming to PSVR2, which I fully expect
Right.
that it will.
I think we all said B, right?
B.
Cool.
Yep.
Well, let's just move on. Darkness. Jesus Christ. Darkness Rollercoaster.
Imp-
PSVR2 edition.
Where's the E's and F at? I don't see it.
Listen, I'm just gonna throw this in D unless you guys object. And it's not, I'm not throwing shade at the developer. I'm just saying this was a game where even the developer was like, yeah, we were trying to figure out how to learn how to make games while we were doing this, and we understand that there's issues. I love roller coaster games. I thought Rush of Blood was amazing. Even what are they called? Roller Coaster Legends. There was 2 of those. Those were both really fun. This just feels like they just took a bunch of Unity assets and threw them together. And it was just like, oh, now we're going through this environment. Now we're going through this environment. It just feels, nothing really feels like it comes together well. There's the shooting mechanics that don't feel great. There's like the Beat Saber parts that feel terrible to play. This is not, as far as I'm concerned, even with a lot of polish, this game will not ever be good. So,
And this is from a PSVR, isn't it?
Yeah. Notorious PSVR 1 game.
I'm watching your review of it now.
Oh, yeah. So
You gave it a 3.5.
that was probably generous. Yep.
All right. So what are we giving it? What, an A?
Yeah. I put it in D.
That's what
I
D.
just don't see any improvements they could make that would make it like something.
Give it
I
a D.
recommend.
Give it the D.
Yeah. All right, we get Darts VR2.
Okay, I would be hyped for a proper darts game. There's a lot of games you play in VR where there's a little dartboard and you throw it and you're like, yeah, it's not quite right.
Mm-hmm.
If only they focused all their energy on just the dart mechanics, then this would have been very enjoyable. So hopefully they've nailed that here. But this is something where I'm going to have to look at the trailer to make an opinion.
Oh, you know what? That's a
have a
good
look
point.
here.
There's a lot of I've seen a lot of people in the chat being like, I don't know what game this is or whatever.
Yeah,
I should probably be bringing up these trailers.
Is
as
it
we
just
go.
called Darts VR?
Darts
Bullseye.
VR2? Oh yeah, Bullseye.
R2.
Where's
Oh, here we
the
go.
window capture?
Yeah.
Here we
Oh,
go.
they've just done the logo reveal. Okay, that's not what I wanted.
Yeah,
And there's a zombie hand grabbing it.
right.
That's kind of cool, but that doesn't show us what the gameplay is.
Not promising. Yeah. Listen, I'm without more information, and also listen. Not only do we need more information about the quality of this game, but on top of that, we need more information. I think we need fewer games that are these individual sports. We need more games that are like Rec Room that let you do a lot of different things.
Yes.
This is something we've been complaining about for a long time, and it's hard to get excited about being like, oh yeah, you get to go into a bar and play this one fucking bar game. And like, dude. VR has become so much more than that. VR has been so much more than that for a long time. So, it's the same thing with these Forever games, Forever Bowl, Forever Cornhole, Forever whatever. It's like, come on, guys. Like, you need to include all of these and give us a hub area to get in there together with our friends and then decide what sports we're going to go play. Right? I don't want to jump into game after game after game and regroup. So, yeah, this is a.
But
D
Bryan,
for me. Yeah,
have you played Darts VR 1?
I have not.
So maybe you should think about that before just throwing your D around the place.
Bro,
like that.
I will throw my D around all day, every day.
All right, I'll give it a D as well. D for darts.
Wes, are you in the D category with us?
No, I'm completely with you. Like, I would be shocked if this turned out to be more than a D, because you're right that darts could be fun in VR for 20 minutes, but it's just the smallest possible scope, right? Unless they're just really like, the only possibility that would get this to be anything other than a D, even if it was like the best dart game ever, is if they had some sort of like different type of game than we ever thought of in mind, like some sort of action adventure game where you have to throw darts to get through like all these crazy levels. That could possibly rise it up to a C. But just a darts game with a dartboard on the wall, or you know,
This,
that
the cynic in me is also that like there's been a lot of games of these individual sports and they're like the only one in town and they've not been that impressive. So like Forever Pool, I wanted to like it a lot more and it just wasn't. It didn't feel very intuitive, and that was a shame. If this is a really well polished darts game where I'm playing it and it you throw it and it's wow, this really feels like you're throwing the darts.
Yeah.
Then I think it could be a nice surprise. But even then, it would be like a high C.
I love high C. Do you have a high C in the UK?
We have. It depends on when the tide is, but yeah, sometimes it's high, sometimes it's low. All depends.
oh,
All right, the next one is Encircled. This is actually a new reveal for PSVR2. It was going to be one of our news stories this week, but I figured, hey, if we're going to talk about it during the ranking, we might as well just talk about it during the ranking. So here, let me bring up this trailer here. Somewhere. There it is. It's a tower defense game, and it looks like a very low-budget one coming September 27th. What do we think?
yeah, no.
There's a lot of weird, like squirrels and that on the floor in this game. Are they the ones
Squirrels
that
on
are
the
throwing
floor?
shit? Oh, it's a ferret. So you put a ferret down and it just lies there, and then it. Interesting. I'll give it a D.
Man, okay. Listen, I want to give it more than that, but I can't because this trailer looks pretty rough. I would love a proper Pixel Junk Monsters VR game where you do run around like this in first person, and you are, you're doing stuff during the defense sections, and then as you're building up your defenses. This just doesn't look good to me. So I think it's an easy D. Easy D.
This looks like a color by numbers tower defense game. This looks completely uninspired. It looks like, talk about asset flip. This looks like the most basic of asset flips to me. And yeah, tower defense is an interesting genre because like I never liked tower defense games before VR. And I've found myself since coming into VR, every time a tower defense game comes out, I'm like, I'm not someone who likes tower defense, but this is pretty fun. Like time after time after time, it seems like every tower defensive game in VR has been actually pretty good. This looks bad and basic.
You remind me. I want Corix. I want Corix to come to PSVR2. Yep. I love that game so much.
Corix was good, man.
If they did an expanded edition for PSVR2, I would happily pay $10, $20 for that. Because I paid $1 on PSVR and I still feel really, really bad about it.
All right, you guys. For the as far as I can tell, Firmament.
I'm trying to read it.
Firmament. The new game from Firmament. The new game from Cyan Worlds. Here, let me bring up the trailer. Is slated to launch. I believe it's slated to launch this year for PSVR 2. Not known as the best Cyan Worlds game. Obviously, they've done Myst and Riven and Abduction, but this, it does look beautiful. And sometimes I think the coolest part about being in a game is about being in the world, and I hope they nail this because the last VR game we got from them on PlayStation VR at least was Abduction, and that was a slideshow, man. Like that was literally teleportation, nonstop load screens. It was just kind of a mess. So if they can make something beautiful that really works well on PSVR2, I think just being in the world is almost enough for me. It doesn't have to be the best Cyan Worlds game. Kind of puts it in the A or B category for me.
That's exactly where I'm at. Having played it, it is not the best Cyan Worlds game. It's probably the worst, honestly, Cyan Worlds game. But they're all the Cyan games are really good. So it's not trashing this as a bad game or anything. It is beautiful. It was not terribly well optimized on launch on PC. It may be now. I don't know. I haven't gone back to it. So yeah, this is an interesting one for me because it's a pretty good game. It's definitely got the beautiful visuals that Cyan games typically have, the interesting worlds and the realm hopping that everyone loves. That is here. The story, the odd fantasy stories that they've got going on that you have to basically discern for yourself by reading and examining. That's all here. It is very basic in terms of VR implementation. There's still a lot of push button type mechanics in it, point and click sort of thing. But you do have your hands in this. It's not completely like the old games were from them. So it is a bit of an upgrade there, but should have been better than what it was. The biggest thing that really put me off on this game is that the type of puzzles in this game are completely different than the typical Cyan puzzles. Typically Cyan games have these very cryptic puzzles in them, and sometimes overly challenging. But normally you have to like examine the whole world to find clues or items that you need to solve a puzzle on the other side of the map. You have to read, you have to pay very close attention, you have to think outside the box to solve those puzzles. And at least through the part of the game that I played, these were pretty straightforward physical puzzles, like problem solving sort of things and trying to fit a round peg into a square hole or a square peg into a round hole type thing. It wasn't what we typically see from them. With that said, I did enjoy the game. I don't want to sound too negative on it. I thought it was fun. And I do expect this to be the best version of it. The reason why we haven't gotten it yet is because they've pretty much tore the engine down and rebuilt it to be able to take advantage of things like DFR. So I think that we're going to get a better looking, better running game than even we got on PC. So there's that. So I'm with you. Like I'm high B, low A on this one, and would be interested to hear what Miles has to say.
I mean, I'm literally only going to go off what you've been talking about, because my first thing when I was looking at footage as we were discussing was, what was the name of the classic point and click game that came to PSVR 2?
Colossal Cave.
Yeah. Great looking game, but it is using the old mechanics.
This is way better than Colossal Cave.
That's so that's what I was saying was like, from what you were telling me, it's like, no, there's a lot more. This is actually VR mechanics and things. So my feeling was a B, but that's more tied to like my hype level of like, I'm still unsure about it. But if it was voted on as an A, I'd be happy with that as well.
Yeah,
but
this is probably an A. I mean, to be fair, like a lot of what I'm saying here just comes from my disappointment because I expected it to be an S tier game and it wasn't. Right, so I'm still kind of a little bitter over that. But I mean, if I'm being fair, this is probably an A tier game. Like it's a very good game. Some really breathtaking scenes and scenarios in this game with like just huge scale and like there's a really cool stuff to experience here.
I feel like we're leaning heavily on Wes on this one. So if you're saying A tier, then I'm down with A tier.
Yeah, I think so.
And Ace Gamer, the Gamer Cat, with the $13.37 says, "What's a pirate's favorite letter? You'd think it would be R, but his first love be the C."
That's it.
Hashtag Tornado needs a Game Cat hoodie. Thank you very much, Ace Gamer. Ace Gamer, the Gamer Cat, gifted 5 without parole memberships. Holy motherfucking shit, Ace Gamer. Damn. Now I feel like you just bribed me to be the clip of the week, as you are. So.
That's good. That's good.
And then Miles Dyer with the level 2 membership. You motherfucker. Glass of milk.
What? Oh, is that what it was?
Yeah.
I thought it was a building, but okay.
Yeah, I wonder what kind of milk it is. Feel free to sound off in the chat, you guys, and let us know.
I'm just gonna sniff it. Oh, that's the wrong and stuff. That's goat's milk. That's goat's milk.
Yeah.
Ugh. Ugh. I mean, I love goat's cheese, but goat's milk. Bleh.
Bleh. Bleh. All right, guys. Frenzies. Frenzies is the next one. This one is. I feel like. I don't know, man. It looks like a fun game, but it does not look like the kind of game that we needed. Maybe I'm wrong about that. It does look like it takes the traditional PvP style shooter and adds some quirkiness to it. And that could be all it takes to save this game from mediocrity. But before I even weigh in, I definitely want to hear your opinion, guys. Miles, why don't you kick it off?
I mean, this does tie into my hype for it. I think this is going to be a really solid game. Met Endreams at Gamescom, didn't get to play it, but I spoke about, and I've had a chance to play early access pieces, and I haven't had a chance. I think, Wes, you have.
Yeah, and this is what's weird about this for me is because I know what this game is. I don't know that I'm allowed to talk about it.
Okay.
You're not.
I don't know if I'm under embargo or not.
To my knowledge, you're not allowed to talk about it. Fortunately, I am, because I am not under embargo. And everything that was told to me from people who've played it sounds really promising. All right, again, like the red light, green light mode, where it's like you're all running around, the lights turn a different color, and you're only allowed to shoot each other when the lights turn green, right? This is the kind of thing I think this genre needed, like some kind of a little bit of quirkiness, a little bit of inventiveness, a little bit of like, some more interesting modes. We've been playing fucking team deathmatch for fucking 30 years. Like we need something a little bit different. We need a little bit of that.
Glitter Pig.
Fall Guys. Yeah, Glitter Pig sounds like really fun. But we need some of that Fall Guys quirkiness, right? The little goofiness infused into our ever so serious first person shooters. And I think that's what might save this. Like, fuck everyone else. I think that's what might save it for me, right? Make me interested in playing it. We take our first person shooter so seriously sometimes that I think we forget like what makes a fun game. And I think this might buck the trend.
Endreams make such great, well-polished games. They've nailed the cover system and their weapons feel great. And the fact we're going to be playing multiplayer against each other solves one of the issues we always have. Every time I meet Endreams, I'm always saying, your games are too short. And I know that there's a sweet spot. It's not to say that you need a longer campaign, but you need some elements of replayability. The classic example being with Synapse. I always wanted it that they had a weekly modifier and a leaderboard, so you just keep coming back. Obviously that requires additional development, but it's like, we're not saying you need a longer campaign. You just need things that are going to keep you coming back. And speaking with them at Gamescom about it, and again, this wasn't under embargo, this was just general conversation. I said that when I first saw this trailer, my first thought went to my love for Solaris Off-World Combat. And I played the shit out of that game. I think I was the first in the world to get the plat because I was just playing it non-stop. And then it died like after a week or two because no one was playing it. And I remember First Contact was saying, more news is coming, we got more updates. Nothing came out. And Endreams, the people I spoke to there, were saying that when developing games, this game, that Solaris Off-World Combat was a game that they were aware of and looked at. And the criticisms we've had for Endreams about games being too short, there seems to be a lot of care being taken of, okay, we've got a good environment, arena to play the game, but then how do you get people to stick around? And I don't know this specifically, but my impression is that there's going to be things to grind for, and I'm all for that. So, when I play Endreams games, my criticisms are always about the lack of content or reasons to stick at it. If they nail that portion, this is going to potentially be one of my favourite games of the year, just because I know how good the combat feels, and to play fast-paced in an arena shooter with others. If there's a good player base, there's good stuff to grind for. I think this is going to be amazing. So although I think it's a potential to be an S, which I know will be controversial to say, I'm definitely going to vote for an A on this.
Did you give me a letter, Wes?
No, I'm not going to. I don't think it would be right for me to do that. I'm going to recuse myself, but I will say that I think I am allowed to speak a little bit on the structure of the game. I think that they have spoken on this, so I won't be breaking any news here. I think the big thing that they're trying to do is achieve replayability through spontaneity here. I think that's the big hook
Yes.
of this game, is that you get into it and it's a best of 5 to, in terms of who's winning, but you don't pick what the game mode is. You don't pick if it's single player or team based. It's on a 100% randomizer. So you find out like 90 seconds before the match starts what you're doing, what the rule set is, who's on your team, all of this. You figure it out right before you go in, and then you play, and it's just constantly randomized like that. So I think that that's their hook. Whether that turns out to be a good thing or a bad thing remains to be seen. And if that's something people like or dislike, we'll see. But I think that that's what they're really banking on being what sets them apart.
Miles, you were saying A. I'm thinking B. And Wes is not voting. He's
I'm not voting.
abstaining.
Dude, this is end dreams we're talking about, and the criticism we have is,
I mean, it's Near Light,
Long-
right? Who made Shooty Fruity prior to this, which is a great game. All right, you know what? No conversation required. I'm gonna bend and I'm gonna put it in A. And I hope, Miles, when we come back to this conversation,
yeah,
yes, Wes.
No, I'm not going to do it again. I've already done it 4 times. I'm not going to do it anymore.
When we come back to this conversation, when the game comes out, I really, really hope that that it leans more towards your expectations for the game, Miles, than mine. I think it's
me too.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be fun no matter what. I'm just wondering about the longevity.
Yeah, exactly, and that comes down to the player base and like what the grind mechanics are. Like the core gameplay is clearly going to be good. I mean, I feel. But
I want to preempt the next game by saying if we don't put this in S, we will have a hit out on our heads from all of the game cats in the chat right now. It's Ghost of Tabor. There's so much hype surrounding this game. It's not like we haven't played this game before, or it's not like I haven't played this game before. I think, Wes, you've definitely spent some time with it. Miles, have you spent time with it? I
played a little bit on the Quest, and it's quite a lot of getting used to. And I was like, I'm just going to wait till PSVR2. But I have a lot of conversations with people that play it. I think if it's a good I was going to say good version for PSVR2, I think this is going to be a really, really good time. So for me, it is I'm between an A and an S. I feel the red dot on the back of my head, so maybe an S. But no, I don't know. Because I do think it comes down to, I think if it's executed well in terms of like the version for PSVR2, I think it's going to be an S rank. But it might be that it's like it's pretty much there, but there's just bits, and for a game where you've got so much complexity of things that you got to do, there's so much realism they go into, whether it's your inventory or reloading, which even with the best like laid out mechanics in terms of working for PSVR2, that's going to be quite frustrating for a lot of people. If there's any jank or stuff, then that's just going to really put it through the floor. So I feel like safe is A, but I do think this has the potential to be an S rank game.
I think it all comes down to the port. And I just hope it's a solid port, man. They're obviously taking their time with it. They're making sure that they haven't rushed it out. They had opportunities to launch this game already this year, and they did not take those opportunities. So between Combat Waffle and the port studio, I think that they really, really care about making a great polished version of this. I have not played a great polished version of this. If we get a great polished version of Ghost of Tabor, it's an S. It's definitely an S. I just hope, and I haven't played it recently. I can only imagine how long ago it was that Elvert and I jumped in and played Ghost of Tabor for hours and then did a Gamescast on it. That was probably a year ago, 2 years ago. I have no fucking idea. Feels like it's been a while. It's been a while. And so
In a while.
So it could very well be a much more polished game on PC and Quest right now. So I'm willing to give it the benefit of the doubt and put it in S.
Yeah, I know a lot of people that would call this game an S tier game. The people that like this game love it. Like, they love it. Hundreds of hours spent in it, love it. It's not an S for me. I feel like there's a very specific gamer that plays these games, but it's not very accessible for a lot of other people. This is a hardcore game. It may be the most hardcore game I've ever played. Not just, I mean, it's very tedious. Not only like, people often cite things like reloading the clips and all of that, but like, if you don't know the guns by looking at them, and this may be different, that's another caveat now I need to put it, is I'm like you, Brian. I played this early days. It may be different now. I know for a fact that there's more maps to it now. But back when I was playing it, like, if you didn't just know what the gun was by looking at it, then it's just a gun. There's a pistol, there's a rifle, but every gun has specific ammo that it takes.
Yeah.
And you'll find a box of ammo that has like the caliber on it. But like for me, I don't know what ammo goes in what gun or any of that. Like, I mean, obviously I know the obvious ones, right? Like I can pick out the AK or the SKS and pick the right ammo for that. But like, we're talking about a game that has dozens of different varieties of guns and dozens of different varieties of ammo. And really I could even get past all of that if there was an end game that you were building to. There is no end game here. You're just going in
It's a good point.
to scavenge loot and get out. Like, that's it. The gameplay can be super compelling when you're in there and fun. But it's just so repetitious. You're just doing the same thing over and over and over again and piling up stuff for no reason, just to have it. The reason why you need to pile up stuff is because it's hard and you're going to die and you're going to lose your stuff. So you're going to need more stuff to play it again. That's just not for me. And I think that
you're
it's
selling
not.
it to me.
I just think it's not going to be for a lot of people. I think it is for a lot of people. And
Yep.
again, people who are into that type of game love it. And I can see why they love it. I had fun in it. It's very fun. But we're talking about the difference between a good game and a great game. And for me, this isn't like AAA tier great. It's a very good game. But it's not AAA best of the best, in my opinion.
I never played Tarkov. My brother plays a lot of Tarkov, and it's a game that definitely appeals to me. I'm just not a PC player, so never got a chance to. I'm super hyped to play this game, and and again, it's not going to be for some people. I think it's going to probably be my type of game. Just going into there and taking people out, and I like extraction shooters. So yeah, I'm between an A and an S, but I'm just going on A because we're yet to see how it's executed for PSVR2.
The maps are great. The weapon mechanics are top notch. There are no better weapons in VR. The maps are big and expansive, and they are fun to explore. The backpack system's a little bit tedious because they use the Into the Radius style backpack, but where Into the Radius will let you just pile things in, and you have a weight limit that you can't exceed. Ghost of Tabor makes you fit it in like a jigsaw puzzle. You can't like really overlap things. It won't let you close the backpack and put it back on unless you fit it in. So that's a bit tedious. But there's a lot that I really love about the game. So please don't misunderstand my criticism as saying that this is anywhere near a bad game. It's an excellent game. It just could be better, I think.
And they make good merch as well, don't they?
You say make good merch? Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
It's wearing the hat.
Nice. They do.
Yeah. Yeah, listen, I think you touched on a lot of great points there, Wes. And it does bother me that like you're not working towards an actual goal. And I think that's why I'm so much more excited for Into the Radius than this, because you're working to progress through the campaign, and that's your reason to bring all that stuff back and scavenge. And so I do think that the best. I started off by being like, if we don't give this an S, they're going to kill us. But I do think that this is going to deliver what so many people want. That it's got to be an A.
Yeah,
It's a solid A. It's an A plus even. Like it's a really good game.
A plus.
It's just.
I mean, it's a strong A for me, but I do think it could be an S.
But taking the average, it seems like A is pretty good. Do I even have the screen up right now? No, you're just playing this awful quest footage. Here, let me bring that back up. There it is. All right, we put Ghost of Tabor into the A category.
Can't wait to play it.
That'll save some room for Into the Radius in the S category for me. All right, but the next one is I Am Cat. Clearly an S rank, right? Clearly. We all want to be Cat. I am Cat, you are Cat, we are all Cat.
So I haven't seen a lot of this footage. I am aware of this game. It went viral when it first launched on whatever other platform it came out on. A lot of people like it. A lot of people were really digging it. The little bit of footage I've actually cared to watch. I mean, this looks like a modern, like Cat Lateral Damage or something. Am I right about that?
Yes, except Cat Lateral Damage did not deliver on the VR part of it, right? It was a very crappy VR mode within Cat Lateral Damage. And so I have been left unfulfilled, Wes. And this game looks like it will fulfill me.
I'm happy for you. I struggle to put this in C because there's stuff in C that I want to play, and I don't.
So much of this is hilarious watching it. It's just the whack-a-mole, just the cat arms go.
Oh my god! Wait, I need to rewind? Can you put your claws out by like pulling the triggers or something? Like, is that? Okay.
I'm sure.
Oh my god. Listen, this is a total goof game, right? I don't expect this to review well or even be that great, but I do think this is going to be like just one that like I'll be excited to get in and run around and do stupid shit. It's sort of like a better looking, not so much Cat Lateral Damage, better looking Baby Hands. Right? There's like, oh, you just go into this room and that room and you're on all fours. But there's just so much, it looks like there's so much more to do. And it looks so much goofier. I mean, I'm okay putting it in C because I'm aware of the kind of game we're talking about. And I'm not expecting much, but I do expect it to be silly and goofy and fun. And I think it's going to be really fun to stream when it comes out.
You know what cats like? Drink.
You took it out of my mouth.
What?
It's worth to see just because it has milk in it, right? Yeah.
So funny. Can we do C?
By the way,
yeah.
By the way, I would love it if Stray were in VR officially.
Yeah.
Playing that modded with a gamepad was awesome. So like, there's my cat game. I want to play Stray in VR.
I liked Stray a lot. I played it on the flat screen when it came out. Really enjoyed it. So often with VR games, you're like, oh, we really want this in first person VR, but Stray, such cool worlds and nice little third person platformer absolutely. That like even third person is absolutely great by me. All right. Oh man. Okay. Well, we just had I Am Cat. Now it's I Am Security.
What did we score it? I didn't give my score.
Oh, I'm sorry. I threw it into C. You're more than welcome to tell us that that's the wrong place for it. It sounded like...
No, I'm fine with C. I'm fine with C.
Yeah. Listen, maybe probably not a great game, but probably stupid fun. And sometimes that's all it takes. I
think I Am Cat's going to be stronger than I Am Security.
You think so?
Yeah.
I mean, I Am Security is it kind of here. I'll pull up the trailer right now. It looks like Border Bots, except you're just a security officer at a nightclub.
But you're doing it to humans, not robots.
Yeah, man. I don't know. I did.
My ranking would have been I Am Cat on B, and then I Am Security C. I've seen streamer gameplay of it. They're both funny. But I think for this I'll put it as a C.
I didn't expect to like Border Bots. I thought it was gonna be just.
I liked Border Bots.
I thought it was just gonna be bad, another job sim type rip off game, and just nothing that I was gonna get real excited about. But when I was playing it, I was really into it. I really, really enjoyed it. Super polished. My concern, of course, is that this just isn't going to be nearly as polished, but we'll probably go heavier on the humor. I don't know. What do you think, Wes?
Yeah, I mean, my first reflex is to put it in D, but to be fair, the games that are in D are like obviously bad. This isn't obviously bad. Like, I don't care about it, and I probably won't play it. But I don't know that it's bad the way that I know that these other games are going to be bad. So, I mean, I'm fine if you want to put it in C. Yeah, C or D, either one work for me.
I listen. I feel like I'm exuding some optimism for a game that doesn't deserve optimism. I would put this in D, I think.
All right, I'm down with that for sure.
Miles, cool with D? Are you down
D,
with the
yeah.
D?
I'm down with the D.
All right, that brings us to a really big one. At least a really big one for me. Into the Radius. Right? It's Ghost of Tabor, but with a campaign. And also spooky, dude. That was my favorite thing when jumping in. I was like, oh shit, is this gonna be scary? Like, it looked like a very technical first-person shooter. And then I got in and I was like, and they just wrote me in like, it's going to be fucking spooky. It's going to be scary. Your enemies you're going to feel like you're in the movie It Follows for at least the first mission. And I was super into it, man. Like I had to convince myself not to keep playing on Quest 3, because I was like, oh, it's coming to PSVR2. I don't want to spend any more time with this build. I want to, spend all the time I put into this. I want it to be something that I'm, working at on PSVR2. So, this is an S tier game.
This is an S tier game. This is as good as an indie game can get. And I hesitate to even call it an indie game because it was published by EA, actually. This is Electronic Arts.
Is it really?
Yeah, it's a small team. I mean, the developer is a small indie team, but it had real backing behind it. And that's the reason why it stayed in early access for 3 years and became as good and polished as it is today. Yeah, this is absolutely an S tier game. It does have share a lot in common with Ghost of Tabor. It's very similar visually. Like Ghost of Tabor, you find ammo for guns in this game, and you don't always know which gun it goes into. But it's a lot easier to figure out when you have 10 guns versus 30, right? And you can do some logical deduction and figure out which shells are rifle shells and which ones are shotgun shells and which ones are pistol shells. So it's a lot easier to figure out here. But yeah, what you're saying is true with the fact that there is a campaign that you're playing through. There is some story to this. And plus you're in a really cool, spooky sci-fi environment that is really unlike anything else that you've ever seen in any way, other than maybe Stalker. Yeah, no, it's an excellent game, and it definitely deserves to be in top tier, in my opinion.
Jordan F in the chat says, A, it's not for everyone. This to me is the first-person shooter equivalent of Gran Turismo, where I was like, you know what? Racing sims aren't for everyone. But because it was so well done in VR, it converted me, and I'm like, dude, I am so fucking into this when I shouldn't be. This is not my bread and butter. This is not the racing games I enjoy. Here I am loving a racing sim and just like couldn't get enough, right? Like one more race before bed, 10 more races later, And that's the exact same feeling I felt about Into the Radius when I was playing it. I was like, oh man, this is so technical, and like cleaning my weapon and figuring out just like how to reload properly. It was so much more technical than a traditional first-person shooter. Even the more technical ones don't go this technical. And but I didn't care because I was like, I want to see what's next. I want to get good at this game. I want this to be something I'm into, even though it's not normally something I'm into. It's sort of the magic of VR. It doesn't happen often. It used to happen a lot more often, right? Like when we all first got into VR, like we'll play anything, whatever you fucking got, we'll play, and it's great. But this is different, right? Like we're all VR's old hat now, and we're all very used to VR. And so, but every so often, a game comes along in a genre that you don't expect to like, and it convinces you to like the genre or push forward and learn more about that genre. And this is that game for me. So that's why it's an S, because I didn't expect that I would get along with it so well, and I did.
Yeah, again, shouldn't be about hype. I'm super hyped for it. I'm super glad. It's Fast Travel Games are publishing this, right?
Yep.
I'm so glad developers like Fast Travel Games and Endreams are doing publishing of games now, as well as developing their own. And I'm super excited to experience this. For the same reasons with Ghost of Tabor, definitely leaning into the sort of stuff I like. The fact it comes with a full campaign. It's atmospheric in the realms of like Red Matter. I know it's a different atmosphere, but it's that kind of, you feel like you're really in the world. It's an S for me.
Yeah, and I suggest, Miles, that you play this game before you stream it. Not because I think you'll struggle or anything, but this is a slow-paced game that
Okay.
takes time to move through. Like if you do a 90-minute stream on this, you're gonna probably make it through the tutorial and do one
Wait
mission.
through the main menu.
Yeah, like there's a lot to it.
That's true.
It is true that it won't be for everyone. It is a survival game, so there are things like thirst and hunger and stuff that you have to contend with. But in the later iterations of the game, they did add in options for that stuff to make it so that it's not so hardcore. So if you don't like having to eat and drink and keep up with all that and sleep, you do have to sleep. You can scale all that back and just play it more like a traditional shooter if you like.
Okay.
I think Wes and I both said S. Miles, did you?
I said S as well.
We're all in the S camp. That's awesome. S camp it is. All right. Hey, this is an interesting one. Obviously, with Behemoth coming along, we're getting our Shadow of the Colossus fix in VR. But did you know that we were also going to be getting our Eco fix with Mare? Now, I don't know if this is actually, I mean, it looks like it's giving Eco vibes, but that's just my assumption based on the trailer, which I will bring up right now. Wes, Mare's been out for a little while on other headsets. Is this one that you're familiar with already?
It is. This is a game that I played. I don't know what Eco is for whatever.
Oh,
talking about
PlayStation
there,
2, the game that came out before Shadow of the Colossus from the same team.
Okay. All right. Well, fair enough. Yeah, I've played this. It's good. I like it. Like this is definitely not going to be for everyone. I like it. It's a very surreal, weird world. They're trying to tell a story non-verbally, so it's a bit artistic. And it's a puzzle game. It's kind of like I don't know how to describe it. You're trying to make your way across each screen basically by making one step at a time. Like you have to. It's almost. I really don't know how to describe it well. The path is broken. The path from A to B is broken,
Mm-hmm.
and you have to basically fix it. Almost like working a Rubik's cube to complete the path so that you can get across to the other side. I like it more for just the world that you're in and the vibe than the actual gameplay. The gameplay's fine, but it does get a little boring from time to time. But the world and each screen is so cool from the last to the next that it kind of compels you to kind of want to deal with the puzzles just to get to the next board. So it's good in my opinion, but a lot of people are going to hate it, I feel like.
Somebody just said in the chat that they've still got their the PS2 copy of Eco. So do I.
Nice.
Yeah, it does sound like you're describing Eco, which is a great thing, because that was sort of the deal. You were playing as this kid and dragging this girl along with you, and basically the whole thing was one giant escort mission. But it was figuring out, like, whereas you can climb and do like all sorts of like more difficult maneuvering, big jumps and everything, you were trying to create a pathway for Yorda to make it across each scene with you. Can you, Wes, the big question I have, by looking at this trailer, it looks like there's some like kind of point and click elements. It looks like you've got these like laser pointers where you're like, telling things what
Yeah.
to do. Do you have direct control over the main character, like with the analog stick? Do you remember?
Well, I'm sorry. The tier page started playing an ad in my ear, so I didn't hear the end of your question. But I think you're asking me if this is purely point and click, and I recall, it is. Yes.
Okay,
And can
so
you control the character?
yeah,
The girl.
Man, it's been so long since I played it.
it's been a
You
while.
might have some. It's been a while. It's if you have control over the character, it's very basic, like move here, move there.
Gotcha.
It's not. You're not doing anything with the character. Basically, you're trying to, like you said, clear the path and move her along.
Cool.
So I don't know if you manually move her, or if she just automatically moves when you clear the path. But there's no like great control over the third person character.
All right. Well, based on what you said, I'm a little nervous because I don't want it to become boring, but I do want to exist in this world. And I'm looking at the list of games that we have, and this is sort of where now we can sort of use these categories for reference points, right? The games that are in the categories as reference points. And I feel like I kind of want to play this game as much or more than like Cold VR or Chernobyl Again. And so B kind of works for me. I feel like C might be not giving enough credit, but you guys tell me.
Yeah, it's not on the level of those games. Like Chernobyl Again and Affected are definitely better games in my opinion.
Oh man, we're looking at C
It
then.
might be it might be on the level with Cold. It's probably better. It's certainly more polished than Already Dead. So it's kind of in between for
Okay.
me. Like it could be low B or high C. And we love high C.
We do.
What do you think, Miles?
The world looks awesome, and there's a lot of PSVR2 games I've played where the world looks great, and I'm not sure I'm captivated by the mechanics for an entire game. But then when I go into them, it just clicks, and you are immersed in it and stick for the long run. And I feel that this could be one of those games. I was leaning towards C, but between C and B. Bryan, you say B, right? Wes, you're sort of in between.
But I trust Wes.
I mean,
Yeah,
looking at
I trust Wes.
yeah,
right?
I mean,
and I feel like this makes, if we put it in the B category, already feels very wide, right? I feel like there are games in there that all of these categories are very wide, and I feel like if we put it into C, then we're widening the C category even more to include games that are like okay, you know,
Yeah,
whereas like
point.
Already Dead and I Am Cat are like you know. So and I'm cool, you know, like I'm cool if we widen the C category a little bit more to include games that are like, yeah, could still be good, but it just aren't, you know, they just aren't going to be great.
on reflection, I think this should be in B, and I actually think Cold VR should be in C. Like looking at how it is ranked now.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Listen, I would actually agree with you, but
But
I feel like I'm relying a lot on Wes here, who has actually played these games. You know what I mean?
I've not played Cold VR.
Oh right, yeah.
it's just because it was when I was comparing Cold VR to the other two on that list, and I'm just like the quality, and they fall. And look, the ones that are in C aren't necessarily bad games,
Right.
And we're not saying Cold VR, but when we consider it compared to like Super Hot and all the things you were saying about the mechanics, like it's intuitive that when you move time speeds up, how is it going to work the other way?
I'm fine with moving Cold down. I think Mare and Cold are kind of falling in the same slot for me. I think Mare is definitely better than the games that are in C, and I think it's definitely not as good as Affected or Chernobyl for me.
Well, then
so
let's leave Mare in C, and we'll move Cold down to C, right? And that kind of elevates the B category a little bit more, right? In order to say, okay, these games are we expect them to be pretty damn good, but just not quite as good as the S and A tiers.
I see what you did there.
C is average, right? That's what kind of on a letter grade scale. C would be average, and I
Yeah.
think that's where these games fall. They're average games.
We're definitely putting way more thought into this than I thought we were going to. So I love that we're doing this at
Yeah.
all, to be honest with you.
We're going to go for it all again and do them at the end. This is just the practice run, isn't it? Yeah, just
Yeah.
to get a feel of it.
Yeah, well, the live show will be way smoother when we
Awesome.
go live.
Looking forward to it.
All right, guys, Max
Do I
Mustard.
do I get a ride or die? No, I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
No, you only get ride or dies if the show exceeds 7 hours. I think that's the rule. Which, I don't know. We'll see how it goes. Max Mustard, you guys. What do you think?
A tier all day. This is an excellent game. You know, it's a great game. It's not Astrobot Rescue Mission, but it's pretty dang good, man. So yeah, this is A tier for me. No brainer.
Yeah, it's an A for me, and I hate to sound like a broken record, but it has the potential to be an S. I've never played it on any of the other platforms, but there seems to be a lot of love and care that's gone into this PSVR2 version. It's held in high regard. There is also, coming off the back of the sour taste in the mouth with the Astrobot stuff, it looks like a feel-good game. And the thing I've often heard is it's no Astrobot, but it's a solid platformer game. And I'm really looking forward to playing it.
It takes a lot of inspiration. It takes a lot of inspiration from Astrobot. The gameplay mechanics are very similar. You know, obviously Astrobot's it's a AAA game with millions of dollars poured into it, and this is not that. And
Right.
no one should expect it to be that, but it's very fun and it's very well done.
Yep. Yeah.
Cool.
I mean, listen, my experience is from the first 3 or 4 levels that I played on Quest 3, and I fell in love with it immediately. I think it's super
Nice.
charming. I love the controls. I cannot wait to see what this thing looks like on the PSVR2 headset. The comparison videos that they've shown so far, making it look crisp and clear, and the colors pop more because of the HDR panel. I mean, like, listen, they're taking their time. They are taking their time and bringing it over seemingly properly. And I think this is gonna kill it on PSVR2. There is a desire for Astrobot, and this is the closest thing we're gonna get. And despite the massive budget differences that Wes was referring to, I don't think that this game is like massive steps below Astrobot. The biggest concern I have is actually somebody saying that it was too easy. And I'm like, yeah, I mean, I'd like a little bit more. I'd like to. I don't know firsthand. Everybody's skill level is different, but I hope there is some solid challenge here. I love the idea of unlocking new power-ups and exploring new worlds and collect a massive collectathon. But, you know, I need the challenge there too.
It does get challenging,
Okay.
but there is no fail state. Like, you can just die and die and die forever. You'll keep coming back to the checkpoint. There is no game over where you have to go back to the beginning of the level, which is my main criticism of the game. Like, I think that there should, like, a part of the classic platformer experience is having to feel that disappointment when you come close and don't quite get there, so that when you do finally make it over these humps, you have that gratification that you've accomplished something, you know.
Oh, Ian Stambridge has
But it-
actually found Astrobot a bit too easy. Yeah.
No way.
I mean, I made my frustration with Astrobot, I think, goes back to me doing my Platinum Trophy live stream. And so I had already beaten the whole game, but I hadn't gone and done certain things. And going to do those challenges, I think, was super frustrating. But
Also, Max Mustard is slang for milk, I believe.
Well, then now it's a D.
It's an A. It's a solid A.
It is a solid
Vitamin
A.
D.
We're putting it in A. Everybody wants it to be an A. The
calcium.
The cats are almost all with us except for the very, very hateful Tatum. It's what we call him, the hateful Tatum.
Hate him, man.
Hate him. They hate him. Okay. What do we got next? We got Metal Hellsinger.
Well, Donald Trump was on the podcast.
That was the idea.
Gonna hate him.
It was the hatefulest thing you've ever seen. No one has seen more hate than this. Dude, I feel so bad every time I talk about Metal Hellsinger.
Oh,
Because I'm not fucking excited for it. Like, it's not the genre of music that I love. It's you know, the fact that there's a rhythm element to it. I'm like, oh, we got so much rhythm shooting. I don't know. Like, I've already played Pistol Whip. Like, I just hope that when I get in there and play it, I'm so much more excited for it than I am right now, because right now it's like, yeah, we'll see. Like at best, I'm like in my head right now, Metal Hellsinger is like a C. I'm like, yeah, it's fine, but I'm not excited to play it. I hate admitting this in front of you guys so much.
No, this, and to be honest, I was probably going to give it an A, but I spoke with the Lab 42 Games studio who are porting this a couple of weeks ago. We did a show on XR Update yesterday, all a bit of a blur. This has been made with a lot of love, and look, that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be a great game, but it's even things like I mean, I'll give you an example. The opening menu is a hub, so it's not just a menu screen. They've made it this environment that you're in, and they started talking about some of the things in the hub. And one of the things that you see in the flat screen game is, and I don't know the name of the character you play as, you start each level coming out of a portal. And they said when they were designing the game, they kept thinking, where's that portal come from? And so they now have a portal in the starting hub. So they've actually I just like it when games are brought to VR and it's not just about just doing it one for one, but they actually expand it and use the VR stuff. I'm a massive fan of Doom. I wish there was a modern Doom game on PSVR2. There isn't at the moment. I love my metal music. This is an original soundtrack. With exceptions that actually, and I think it is for DLC as well, but live streaming wise, it's streaming friendly, so that's great. You're going to feel so locked in playing this, and look,
this is what I want to hear. This is what I want to hear. I need people to convince me, right?
Yeah. I played it flat screen and I thought this is a cool game, and I just wasn't quite there in feeling it, and maybe I need to play it a bit more for it to really lock. But then there was also the part of me the second time I started playing it when it was on PS Plus, thinking, yeah, this is coming out on VR. This is going to be the way to play. It's going to be as long as the frame rate holds and it's well optimized. For me, this is an S rank. Wow. This is an S rank game.
Wow, I love Wes's reaction to that. Wes, you gotta pull me up the cliff, and you gotta talk Miles down the cliff. Be the voice of reason here.
Look, man, I think on this game's best day, if it turns out to exceed all of my expectations, it might be an A. But that's not where I'm at with it right now. Like, I think that the soundtrack is excellent. They've got legit world-class metal artists on this album, which is a coup in and of itself, and makes it amazing just on that. If this, obviously the worlds look awesome, the game looks awesome, the environment, everything about like the world that you're in and being in it, it looks like it's going to be fucking cool. I'm not sold on the gameplay. I don't know if it's going to be really good. Like if this were like a Doom game and it had Doom gameplay to it, I think it would be excellent. I think it would be an A or an S. But the fact that this is a rhythm game makes me wonder if it's going to be super shallow gameplay, and it could be good. Like it could very well turn out to be an A tier game. But I'm more at B for it right now. Like I'm excited to play it, moderately excited to play it. I think it looks and sounds really cool. I'm just not sure that it's going to be fun and addictive the way that it needs to be fun and addictive.
Man, it's a good thing AJ's not here.
Yeah, I mean, I had a lot of the concerns you did before playing the demo, and as I started playing the demo, I was like, this is kind of interesting, but there's a lot to it. But then once it clicks in, because it's also, as you get the combos up, the music evolves. So when you start messing up, the music goes back down to sort of a low hum of like the intro, and then as you get better and better, it evolves into the chorus, and then you get more powerful weapons. And
are there breakdowns in it?
Yeah, there are, man. There are. I didn't realize that
I think it's funny.
Christina from Lacuna Coil is actually one of the vocalists on it. I met her at Gamescom and showed her Trombone Champion. Dude, this is a story for another time. Blew my mind.
That's awesome. That's as awesome as meeting John Linneman.
I got a footage. I've got footage of her playing Trombone Champ. And I introduced her to Team Beef because she's really into the Doom games and stuff. She has PSVR2, so we're going to be getting her on some more PSVR2 games. But she'll have to play this one if she's on it.
All right, you guys, since our opinions are so all over the place, we're going with Dan Kitty VR, who says, I'm feeling a high B for this one.
Yeah, that's where I'm at. Like, I feel like it has the potential to be an A, but I'm not sold on it yet.
I agree. I feel like there's just some games that until I play it, I just don't. There's no way that I can really understand how good it's going to be.
For sure.
And there are certainly people in the chat, you know, like Looper and I think I saw Twitcher saying, listen, the rhythm element is not the defining attribute of this game. This is so much more than a rhythm game. And I'm like, you know what? That's excellent, but I need to play it in order to find out for myself.
And I'd be the same as you. It's only because I played the demo and then a bit of it on PlayStation Plus that so yeah.
Real quick, let's talk about some tips here. We got Wally is now.
Wait, what are we actually giving it? What are we giving it?
Oh, I said we're just gonna go with who was it in the chat? Was it Dan Kitty?
Dan Kitty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, it's when we're all over the place. I was like, it feels like whatever we give it is just going to be an arbitrary rating. So I was like, let's give it to an arbitrary person in the chat. Dan,
all right,
you're not arbitrary. Was it Dan? What's wrong with me? Why can't I remember a name from 2 seconds ago?
We could put it to a poll. I'm not saying wait for a poll. We could just come back to it and put it wherever people think it belongs.
All right. We can put it to a poll. I'm okay with that too. We're taking the rest of this so seriously that like we might as well. Here, let me set up a poll real quick.
Dude, we always take it seriously. This is without parole. Gamescast Live.
This is our life, bro. VR is our life. We have to take it seriously.
All right. Oh, God, I got to spell singer right, or no one will think I'm taking it seriously. Add option. So it's gonna be S, A, B, C. We're not even gonna give people the option to put a D. So let's start the poll. All right, you guys, you tell us. All right, we're all over the place with our opinions, so we need to hear your opinion. While that's happening, let's go over and check out these tips. Waleed is now a game cat, specifically a white tiger with the level 1 membership, says, kudos to Bryan positively evolving after the age of 40. I mean, I haven't evolved prior to the age of 40, so I guess it's fucking time. So thank you. Waleed is now a game cat. I'm always trying to improve, you guys. I'm trying to be a better person, improve, whatever. Anyway. Wally is now a game cat again with a Canadian $2 tip, says Sony gave Meta Iron Man, take Batman in return. Is that how this works?
I like that. It's a good trade. I like it.
Yeah.
That game looks more amazing the more I look at it. It just looks exceptionally good.
I'm Batman.
You know what? I gotta be honest. Like I was looking at the trailer and I was like, I can't say I was like impressed by how the combat looked and all the on-screen indicators. But this is a conversation that at least Miles and I had. I'm not sure if you were involved in this, Wes. It's like, how do you take this form of combat from, like, we were talking about Spider-Man specifically, saying like, how do you take that and bring it into VR and keep the flow going and make it work? And so if this is the way that it works and this is the way that it feels good, then cool. But what I took away from the trailer was that, man, these worlds look fucking beautiful. Right, like they did some really special things with Gotham City, and I was talking to Dan from Skydance about the trailer, and he was talking about how like they pulled off some vertical robot shit in terms of like the graphical quality that they're doing. So I mean, I don't know, man. I guess it's sort of the Servios thing, where it's like the team. You look at the team for their pedigree and say, well, what can we expect from Batman from the team that made what was the first game called?
Iron Man.
No, the one before that.
Oh,
Republic. Yeah. And so it's like you look at Republic and you look at Iron Man and you go, okay, both these games are good games, right? But are they going to be making the best game of the year, the best VR game of the year, 2024 with Batman? It's like, is this the team you really think is going to do that? And I think I underestimated them based on the people who've played the game And based on what I've seen in this trailer, I think I underestimated camouflage, and that makes me really happy, man, because they're a good group of people that deserve to make a great game.
So I've been watching a lot of content on this today. People went hands-on with it at Gamescom, and the embargo lifted today.
Yeah.
And they have essentially captured the Batman Arkham flat game and brought it full tilt into VR, like all of it. And it doesn't play like a flat game. That's not what I mean. But they have VRified the Batman Arkham series. And the only really negative that anyone has to say about it is it's very active. So like people are fucking sweating playing this game because it's so active. But everyone agrees that it's fun and that it's unbelievably beautiful. And my excitement level has tripled in the last week for this game. Like it looks incredible.
That was the most common thing I heard, was it doesn't just feel like a VR game trying to be Arkham. It's an Arkham game. Like, regardless of it being in VR, it feels like an Arkham game. Yeah. Just it's the VR edition, which is incredible to hear.
Yeah, that is awesome. That is really great to hear. I don't pull my Quest 3 out very often for much of anything, but if it's as good as everyone's saying, then I will definitely be playing this on Quest. And yes, I'd love a PSVR2 version, obviously, but you can't always get what you want.
It's not unprecedented. We've seen meta-funded games come to like Steam before, and Iron Man's another good example of a Sony-funded game going to meta, and that was before meta picked up camouflage. So it's not unprecedented, and it could happen.
All right, you guys.
It will, or I expect it.
10 more seconds of this poll, and it's neck and neck. Come on.
Man, I voted A instead of S.
Okay. So we'll take one vote away from A then. I'll say it's neck and neck, man. 40% of you are saying A. 41% of you are saying B. The other two aren't even close. So, like, dude, get your votes in. You are going to make the decision.
11 plus 8%. More are voting S than C.
All right, it's just not. It's just not changing, you guys. It's just not changing. Oh no! It just changed. It just changed.
No, I didn't.
No, it went. Now A is 39%. Yep, it's B, you guys. It's B. It's B. We gave you the voice, and this is what you've done with it. All right.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
It's I expected, honestly.
Yeah.
I can't wait for you all to be impressed and blown away. I mean, I have no idea. It might be terrible. But...
All right, so it's in B, guys. We're moving on to Metro Awakening VR. I feel like out of all of the games that are coming out this fall, this is one we know so little about. We've seen the least of. I feel like, right? Alien is still such a mystery, and Behemoth is less and less of a mystery every single day. We've seen so much, Wanderer footage. This game is just like, we know what it is because we know what Metro is. But we don't really know like what the Metro VR game is going to consist of outside of that blog post we got, which is, that's all hype. So I don't know. Give it to me. Take me away, Wes.
Do you know the team behind Metro have done a VR game? I had no clue that they had done a VR game until we covered it last Saturday on my channel.
Wait, the developers of the flat screen game?
Yeah, 4A Games. They did a VR game.
What one?
Back in the early days of VR, it was an Oculus exclusive called Arctica 1. It was one of the only few Oculus Studios games that I'd never played till this last week. And it's like a AAA node shooter. Like it's like a Blood and Truth type game with a very Metro world and feel to it. It was pretty good. It was solid. I had a lot of fun with it.
But Vertigo Games is the one developing Metro Awakening, though, right?
Right.
So what the fuck is that about?
About it. Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah, I mean, I guess VR didn't work out for them the first time around, so they were like, "Well, we don't want to do that again."
Well, I'll tell you what the fuck it is. It's that since those days, Embracer Group has bought both of these companies. So Embracer Group said, "That's my Metro, and we're going to give it to my VR studio to make my VR game." And with that said, I'm at S for this. I think this is going to be an excellent game.
Whoa! You're at an S?
They're saying yeah, they're saying all the right things here. That this is going to be, a deeply story-driven game, unlike anything we've seen Vertigo do before. We know Vertigo can nail the action gameplay,
Mm.
right? But they're saying all of the stuff that's not in their other games will be in this game. There's going to be scarcity of ammo and resources. They're going to reward people for exploration, and the story is being written by the original guy who wrote all the other stories for all the other Metro games. So I'm at S for this. I think that this is going to be one of the best games of the year and a nominee for Game of the Year by the time the end of the year rolls around.
And there's a lot of hype in the chat for this one. Gummy Tarzan saying hopefully an S. Chris White saying definitely S tier for Metro. Sun WTF says S. Don't even. DeGecko says Metro Awakening's an S range. S rank. It does so much right. Comes from a loved and established franchise. Uses assets, sounds, etc. from these AAA games and has the book author written parts of the story. Yeah, but you could say a lot of that for like Call of the Mountain too, which didn't end up being an S rank game. Ended up being a really good A game, maybe a high B.
Well,
low A.
The thing that held Horizon back, which by the way I still maintain that's an underrated game.
I agree.
But the thing that held it back was it being nerfed for new players, and they have specifically talked to that as well regarding Metro, that they're not pulling punches on this, that this is an intense experience at times. So yeah, again, not a concern for me here at all.
Good. Listen, I am very concerned about this game, right? And it's only because I need to see more. And also Vertigo games, I feel like is like good, right? But they're not like the type of studio that makes S tier games. Not for me, at least. Like I didn't fall in love with After the Fall like you did, Wes. And in Arizona Sunshine 2, I thought it was just like above average. So that's more my concern than anything else. Like this is like the whole Alien Rogue Incursion conversation again, being like, oh, it's about the team who's actually making the game. So I don't know. I've got concerns, but you're making me more excited for it. So what Miles? I don't think you've really chimed in on this. I feel like you've got to be the balancer here.
I've played it.
Motherfucker.
Yeah, I played it at Gamescom. I didn't sign any embargo or anything, but I've looked online and no one's talking about it from Gamescom, so I think I'm better off not saying anything here.
All right, listen.
I can feel the S. I can feel the S coming off of you.
Oh, can you really?
Yeah,
man.
Listen,
I've never played any of the Metro games before, so I don't have any connection to this. But all the things they talk about, the world building, I think is really, really exciting. There's literally nothing I'm going to be able to say other than I played it on a PSVR2, and yeah, I played it.
Sirens on my end.
That's a good sign. That's a good sign in and of itself that they're demoing it to people on PlayStation instead of PC. That's actually a pretty big deal, honestly.
Miles, blink 3 times if it's an S rank.
What, from now?
All right, listen, I'm going to go with I've been taking Wes's advice, and I've been, banking heavily on Wes's opinions this whole time. And I think it would be silly for me to stop doing it now. And the chat seems to be very much into the giving this an S rank. So I say let's fucking go for it.
Let's fucking go.
All right.
There was no milk in the game. There was no milk.
We don't have
I saw.
We don't have a date on this one yet, do we? Like, there's still
just 2024, I think.
Yeah, no date yet.
So this is one of the ones I worry about maybe sliding into next year, because the calendar is filling out. There's going to be lots of competition this year, and I feel like this is an ambitious project that they're not going to want to turn loose of until it's fully polished on all platforms. They've made that mistake before.
Guys, that was the second blink for Miles. I'm just waiting for the third. Oh my god. Oh my, wait, holy, that was so many blinks. How many? It's so above S. It's so much higher than S than we could have ever possibly imagined. It's this is the greatest VR game ever made. Who needs Batman? Oh my god, you just heard it here first. Greatest VR game ever. Sorry.
I was just having a seizure. I'm back. Is everything all right?
Here, bite my wallet. Guys,
Jesus Christ.
yeah.
Oh, well, never
that's-
mind. Just disregard everything I just said. Apparently, pre-orders are about to open for it. So
Oh yeah, pre-orders are coming in September. Although pre-orders are coming in September for what date is the question. So they could be telling us in just a couple weeks that it's
it'll
coming.
be this year.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it'll be this year.
Well,
What have you put it as? LS.
it's S.
Okay.
Yeah, it's S. And I gotta tell you, this is just for me. This is just blind optimism. I don't. It almost
To be
doesn't.
fair,
Yeah.
S is where I would put it, or A, or B, or C, or D. One of them I would definitely put it in, but who knows?
Somebody count the blinks.
Who knows?
Dan Kitty VR says 182 blinks.
Yeah, that's right.
Blink 182. I get it. It took me a second, but I fucking got it.
Oh my goodness, Brian.
What? Are you making fun of me for not getting jokes? Because that's nothing new.
182.
I
Whenever
know.
I see 182, I think of blinking.
Okay. I'm not that smart.
Nick says, did he say S Asia? Just trying to find the code.
Oh man, that's so funny. All right, Nick got one good one in. He made fun of all metalheads though earlier, so I think that kind of negates this comment.
Respect it.
All right, guys, Phasmophobia is the next one. We have been waiting for this for a very long time. It keeps getting delayed. People don't even believe. There are some people out there who, just like Ace of Thunder, don't even believe it's coming. They're saying, "Oh, it's not even going to come out. I don't trust these guys." But the last we heard from them, Phasmophobia is coming out PSVR2 and PlayStation 5 and Xbox during their October Halloween event. It's not a very specific date, but supposedly it's legit almost here within 2 months. I don't know. What's the verdict? How excited are we? Well, not how excited are we? How good of a game do we think it's going to be? Some of us.
I
I know
mean-
exactly how good it is.
Yeah.
Some people are going to love it. I think it's fun for a while. It's fun for a while. The environments are cool. It's extremely repetitious. I'm probably at a B for it. Honestly, like when my initial reaction was to give it an A, but then I look at what's in A and I'm like, it's not on that level.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is probably a high B. It's fun. It's fun to get in your friends and when the game is new, figuring out how to identify these spirits and things is a pretty fun endeavor. They've definitely gotten a lot better with making the environments more scary. Some of them are really creepy, which wasn't always the case. But it is still an indie game and it's very limited scope. And it's a repetitious co-op game. So it's going to be good for a while, and then it'll be something you pull out for parties every, twice a year or something.
There's a lot to unlock, though, right? Like, there's the progression system looks massive. In order, like, the more you play, the more you unlock and level things up, right?
Yeah. So like they've got a lot of upgraded tools that you can use, right?
Yeah.
But it only really affects the game to a certain extent. Like you can always just use the basic tools to identify the ghost most of the time. The upgraded tools basically make the game easier, but you're still playing the same game. You're still uncovering phenomena and looking in the book to see what phenomena which spirit these certain phenomena apply to, and it's just process of elimination. What really makes the game cool is like they can really get you now. Like there are things that you can do to anger certain spirits, and they will take you to hell. Like so you have to be careful now. It wasn't always the case. Like before they would come at you and kill you, but whatever. It wasn't scary. It was supposed to be. But now it's like legitimately you can watch your friend get taken away, and it's just like pretty disturbing. So it's way better than it was when it was in first in early access. But that just means it's a high B instead of a C, you know.
Right. Yeah, this is I made the mistake of my first time playing this being on Steam Deck. Like this is not the kind of place you want to play this game, right? I feel like either a really big screen to get really immersed into it, or obviously VR is going to be the way that you want to play this. It was hard to get scared on the Steam Deck screen, but I get a good feeling for what the game was all about. And I don't know if I'm going to love it as much as I thought I was going to, but you guys know I'm a sucker for horror games. I'm gonna really enjoy playing this, at least while that initial that initial impression stage is over. So, Miles, have you chimed in on this yet? I don't think you have.
No. For me, I was going to come in at an A, just because I love multiplayer. I love social multiplayer where you're trying to cooperate and complete a task together. The idea of doing that in horror is amazing to me. And the fact that I think if you die in it, you then become the one that gets to screw around with all your friends. You get to be an entity that can mess with them. And so I just think there's so much fun to be had here. I think like a lot of these games, it's like Among Us VR. Among Us VR is an incredibly simple game. You're literally doing the same tasks every time. It's about the dynamics with the people that you're playing with. And somewhat could be said when it came to Frenzies as well, with these multiplayers. If I've got a group of people that I've always got to play with, I could be playing this for a very, very long time. But I say that whilst caveating that it is a horror game, and I'll see how I get on the first time. But yeah, it's always been held in high regard. I think having a VR version is super exciting. And I know it sort of ties in with hype. So for me, it's an A, but I would also totally get it if we put it at the B ranking.
Cortex in the chat says it doesn't look like it supports motion controls from the looks of it. I was playing trailers from forever ago. We haven't gotten a proper PSVR2. And none of that was even taken from VR. We haven't gotten a proper VR trailer for this game, so that's why, because it's also playable on the flat screen. If it doesn't support motion controls, I would be shocked. It would be.
Oh, it does. It does. It supports motion controls, and there are some legit like creepy things that happen, even with other people. Like for example, you're working as a team. You run out to the truck to grab some piece of equipment that you didn't bring in, and while you're away, the spirit attacks, and you try to go back to the house, but the front door's closed and you can't get through, and you can still communicate with your friend, and you're trying to tell them to hide, and this thing's talking to them and growling at them. That's real fun. Plus, like some of these detection tools, sometimes some of the feedback you get in it is just very faint, minute, as things you catch out of the corner of your eye, or words whispered through the EVP thing. They do it very very well. It's a lot more polished now, and it does have some legitimate creep factor going on now.
All right, I'm feeling like this is, for me at least, a little bit better than the stuff that's in the B category, but maybe not quite as good as the stuff in the A category. So I am good with either one. What are you guys saying here?
So I was saying A.
Yeah, I'm good. I mean, if you guys want to put it in A, I'm fine. I don't think it's on the level of the A games, but
I mean,
but I know
honestly,
that a lot of people love it. A lot of people love this game.
Yeah. It's tough. Okay, I'm so back and forth. I'm just gonna put it in A because I feel like this is maybe on the level of like Max Mustard, and maybe on the same level as Firmament, but maybe not quite the same level as Aces of Thunder and Alien. So the A category has got quite a range to it, I think, but it's a good range.
Yeah, and I think that says a lot about what we can expect for the rest of the year. The fact that we have so many, on the top. I mean, it's almost 50-50 A's and S's compared to everything else, and that's incredible.
Yeah. All right, what do we think of Snow Scout? The developers have been pretty candid about everything that's been going on.
Yeah.
And like more so than you'd expect, right? Being like, we don't even know if we should port this game if we can't get this number of wish lists, and and then showing a trailer, of all the interactivity that they've added. Despite all of that, this game is still a mystery to me. I don't know exactly what this game is about or what we'll be doing moment for moment, and so that's why I'm sort of all over the place with this right now, feeling like it's a B. But again, that's just a shot in the dark. I have no idea.
I'm exactly
For me,
with you here.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I'd rate it at a C just because I like their last game they did. I know not everyone was very keen on it. It was a very different game.
It's fun.
I'm a massive fan of Firewatch, and I was very late to the party. I think I only played Firewatch in the last half year, and I was surprised how little I knew about it. And it was one of those games that, as I started playing, I thought, okay, this is kind of a cool world, and then it just hooks you with the story, and I was like, I did not expect. It felt like I was in an episode of Lost. I just didn't think I was going to go on this journey, and I couldn't put the game down until the end. Is this game going to capture that kind of story that's going to make you want to navigate around it? It's a high bar to beat, and I'm not, convinced on that. But there seems to be a lot of different mechanics going on. It seems interesting that you can ski. I think just being able to ski around is going to be super, super cool. Know very, very little about it, but yeah, that's why I'm around the C. I don't think it's going to be. I mean, it could be a terrible game. I think it could be actually quite a solid game, but within a certain scope, because it's not a AAA game or a double A game even.
Right. So I think we're all in the same boat. We've got a lot more questions and answers. The Firewatch comparisons concern me thoroughly, right? Because
Firewatch is excellent.
Exactly. That's what concerns me. Is a team like Tunamax going to be able to capture something, or was that even their goal? Was to make, as somebody in the chat put it, the winter version. Yeah, Old Dar says it's the winter version of Firewatch. I don't think it is, right? Maybe, and if it is, then fucking awesome! What an amazing surprise that'll be. But like, I just don't know, and I've sort of gone radio silent on this a little bit. Didn't read the Steam reviews because like I want it to be a surprise, but then that makes conversations like this like the worst thing I could be doing because I'm just going into this completely uneducated. All right, what are the thoughts? Because I'm hearing C. I'm hearing what else are we?
Yeah, I was at a B for it. Like that's where I was at. I'm optimistic about it. I think it's probably going to be good. But for what it's worth, there is a mod for Firewatch out there, and it plays like a native VR game. You wouldn't think for a moment that was a mod, and it's great. So if that's what they're thinking here is like we're going to be the ones that does this one in VR, then awesome. Like if it's anything like Firewatch, it's going to be good. But we don't know. Like you said, we don't really know anything. So.
And the other thing is like Rainbow Reactor Fusion, their last game, it took me by complete surprise just because I thought it was a Connect-free game and that was it. There was a lot of world building within it. Okay, not everyone's going to care about this world building, but there was a lot of very shallow Metroidvania kind of mechanics that you have to get a certain item that unlocks new areas and then you go back. And I loved all that, which shows you that within very confined spaces, they are super attuned to making there be a lot of depth to your environments and mechanics beyond the initial like what you're doing in the game, in this case connecting three colors at any one time. And so if they're able to have that development philosophy into this game, which is obviously on a much wider scale, I think that there's a lot of promise here. And look, that they know how much they've sold of Rainbow Reactor Fusion on PSVR2. I can say it's not going to have been the best-selling game on PSVR2. They've been very, very keen to bring this to PSVR2, which, again, without knowing anything else about the game, shows they have a lot of faith in it. And so, yeah, I mean, I was thinking between a B and a C. I went with a C to be safe, but what do you think, Brian?
Both Wes and I are thinking B, and so if that's sort of like the same vicinity that you're in, I think B works just fine. Again, we're being a little bit. I think there's a little bit of hope going into this assessment.
Yeah.
But that's all you can really do before you've actually played the games. Tell us more about Metro Awakenings. Sorry, I don't know who said that. Where'd that come from?
Yeah, just I played it, and it was on PSVR2, and yeah, it was it was a game. It was a game
It was a game.
based in Metro. I think Metro World. I think it's called.
All right, man. Let's talk about flat to VR reveal. The only one, to my knowledge, that's coming this year, unless anybody on the panel would like to correct me on that. This is Trombone Champ. What is it? Unflattened?
Unflattened.
Yes.
Nice.
Can I?
Go
I
ahead.
mean,
Yes,
even though
please.
this is
Yep.
a part of the company, you know, we work for Flat to VR. Just some additional context. About a year ago, I mean, I've always known about Trombone Champ, and I've always wanted to play it because I thought it was hilarious. I remember when it first came out, and it was all over Twitter, and I thought, this is the funniest thing I've ever seen. This is ridiculous, because in this game, obviously, you sound terrible when you're not hitting the notes, but when you do hit the notes and you hit that perfect note, it still sounds terrible. And I finally got a version working on my Mac, and I did on one of my Miles Die Live Wednesday shows. I did it about a year ago, and I remember laughing during it, saying, "Oh, I know there's this VR mod. I wish it could come to PSVR2." And so when I joined Impact Reality, Flat to VR 4 months ago, and I saw internally Trombone Champ VR, I lost my mind. I was like, this is the most amazing thing ever. Now, I know on one hand, there's a lot of people going, Flat to VR, we want, you know, Half-Life, new Half-Life games, or, you know, or AAA games we want to bring from Flat to, you know, VR. The fact is that this is a journey, and and this is one of 4 games that have been announced, and these are first steps. And so I've just given context of why I love this game so much and played it. Everyone I showed it to at Gamescom, all the creators, there was not one person that didn't like it. They all laughed. They found it hilarious. And the other thing I like about it also is when you play Guitar Hero, when you miss those notes and you get that, it no longer becomes pleasant to listen to. This is a game where I can see myself at Christmas. Everyone's had a few drinks, and you just get your family playing it, and off the social screen, and just everyone's going to be laughing so much together. And this is just my own belief. I've actually not really discussed it with the team and that. I think that this game has potential to be one of the biggest selling VR titles for the rest of the year, just because it is made for streamers. I think of like Five Nights at Freddy's, like Markiplier and all this sort of stuff. People are going to be able to play their own custom tracks through it. And it's just meme worthy. It just really is. I mean, playing national anthems, which people take so seriously in this really obnoxious, pretentious way. I think it's got real potential for that, just because it's super niche, but it's also like super funny. It doesn't take itself seriously. But the mechanics work. It feels really good. So
Did
anyway,
you
that was
say
my
we
spiel.
can play our own custom tracks, Miles?
No, we won't be on PSVR 2. I assume not, but
You
yeah,
motherfucker,
that will
getting
be.
my hopes up and then dashing them immediately.
Yeah,
How dare you?
that's the thing. That's the thing. All Quest stuff and PC VR. It's the Beat Saber stuff as well, isn't it? That they could always do the mod community stuff and that. So yeah, unfortunately not. I mean, we have Quest 3s. Although I think to do mod stuff, you need to have a PC. You don't need to do it with Beat Saber and all that. So I've never been able to do it.
Wes, is there anything you want to add to Miles' thoughts on this?
No, my thought was that I was just going to completely recuse myself on this because of conflict of interest. But then here Miles goes on all this big spiel and giving every little thing that he thinks about it. I didn't know that we had announced custom tracks for it. That's news to me.
Whoa!
Wow. I will say this, that the reception to the game has been pretty unanimous, even from people who say, you know, this really isn't my type of game. Once they play it, they come away and they say, you know what, that was really a lot of fun. It was insane. So the attitude toward it is very positive, unanimously positive. And I think Miles is absolutely correct that this could be one of the best selling games of the year. Yeah, I think that absolutely could happen. But that's really all I'm going to say about it. I'm not going to put a letter grade on it. I'm not going to give any of my experience with the game. When I played this game, it was very early in development. It's a very different game now. So I'm just going to recuse myself from this and say that I'm very optimistic for the game's future. I think it's going to do very well.
Okay, well,
I'm not giving it a score either, but
I saw a lot of cats in the
that's
chat saying B. I'm looking at the games that are in B. This feels good with those games, I think. Right? Again, B is a very wide-ranging grade, and I'm happy with that. So, thank you guys. I appreciate your the stance that you're taking. I think it's probably the smart way to go.
And that's the thing, is us thinking it's going to be a massive game doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be an S-rank game. Like that's just not how it works, you know. So yeah, I respect that.
I do think it's going to sell really well. It is the kind of game, you know, like that. There's always these like unexpected games that just sit on the top 10, like Job Simulator, right? Or Drunken Bar Fight. Like, I mean, these games are just like fucking bizarre, and like just and it helps that like people are streaming it, and it gets the attention on it. And so when people go, I'm going to get a VR headset. Oh my God, I've seen this game a million times. I need to get this. I think Trombone Champion. I think you're right. I think it has potential to sell a lot. Obviously not what we're talking about here today, but it does look like it's going to bring some silliness and ingenuity into the rhythm game genre. Much needed, I think.
I want to see you live stream it, Brian.
Yeah, I definitely want to get back into live streaming. I feel like I've been away from it for far too long, so I will do my best. Guys, brings us to I think one of the biggest question marks, not in terms of quality, but in terms of whether it's actually even fucking coming out this year on the entire list, and that's Undead Citadel. This is one that we've just been hearing about for so long, in fact, that you guys remember they showed themselves playing it. The team over at Dark Curry showed themselves playing it on a PlayStation VR1, and they're like, "Look, it's up and running, and it's looking good," and it did look good. But man, these guys are slow when it comes to, I mean, just finishing the game and getting it out of early access on the Steam. And then on top of that, the Quest port that they're doing, the PSVR2 port that they're doing, these are taking forever long. And we've gotten so many games in the meantime, like Legendary Tales, right? That just do what this is doing, but like to the nth degree, right? With a depth that Undead Citadel just is not going to be able to match. And I think for some people that's okay. Right, we're like looking for more of an arcade experience, looking for something without such deep mechanics. You guys want to go and kill a bunch of shit. Awesome, but I just don't know this long development cycle, this long port cycle, where the game's going to land, because things are evolving in the VR space, and we expect more than we did 5 years ago. So, Wes, tell me what you think. Where is this going to satisfy people?
It will satisfy some people for sure. It's a very well done, polished game. High production value. Obviously, it looks and sounds very good. I think the most impressive thing about it is the physics. Like it's got good collision physics and good throwing. Good projectile weapons. Like the playing this game is a lot of fun, and being in this world is a lot of fun. It is extremely shallow. It is an arcade style game. But the environments are great. It's fun to play. I'm like low A on this one.
Oh.
It's a very good game, but it's not a great S tier game. So yeah, I'm definitely above the B. We're in that zone again where we're above the B games, but probably below most of the A games. That's kind of where I fall with it.
Talk to me, Miles.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, for me, it's not been a joke, but it's the game that I've been looking forward to for a long time, because I just feel like it's on PSVR this week, like every other week.
Yeah. Yep.
But it's always looked amazing, and the mechanics and the physics look super, super tight. So, I mean, I know, again, super hyped for it. It looks great. I don't know what the scale of the game is. I guess that's my big question, is like, how much of a game is that to this? So what ranking would you give it, Wes?
I'll give it a low A.
Okay. And you, Brian?
I got to look at the scoreboard here. Yeah, I mean, I do feel like I'm again not basing it on my hype level, but it does seem like it belongs above the B's, maybe a low A.
Yeah.
Dude, I played this game on PC for an episode that Wes and I did together. Jesus, I mean, it must have been over a year ago at this point, right? When Steam had the demo out for it, and it was just the horde mode, and so we get a feel for like the physics, the mechanics, and it felt good, man. Like I was really into that, and had a good time with just the horde mode, which I don't normally care about. So yeah, I don't know, man. I could put this in the A category, no problem.
Yeah, no, I'm fine with that.
All right. Boom. The A category is getting big and fat. All right. Vendetta Forever's next. I'm not super thrilled to talk about this one, only because it looks like Tiger Blade to me, and I did not enjoy Tiger Blade. It's not the kind of thing I want to be doing in VR. It's like, I think people are trying to make like the light gun thing work. This kind of like fast, frenetic leaderboard thing, and for some people that's obviously working, but for me it's not. This isn't how I want my how I want to play action games in VR personally. But I obviously want to hear from you guys. Maybe you can sway me.
It's fun. I've been playing it a lot, only because I was competing in a content creator competition, the speedrunning competition. So I've probably got, I don't know, 6, 7, maybe even 8 hours in the thing. It's fun. It's fun to play. I think that in order for it to be an excellent title, it will need to have lots of levels. They only gave us access to 5, and the levels, I mean, like, I'm literally going through the levels in 10 seconds now after
Wow.
practicing, So we need a lot of levels. They're supposed to be bringing it on. I'd put it in probably a B tier right now. It's good. It's not going to be a game of the year contender by any means, but it's fun. It's got a very super hot meets Zombieland type thing going on here.
Okay.
And there's enough. There's variety in the gameplay between the levels. Like it's not all just doing the same thing all the time. They switch up the weapons. They switch up the goal, and it's enough to keep it fresh. It's fun. It's a good game.
Yeah, I played it at Gamescom, and I saw on the wall the list of times to beat, and I think the top times are like 17 seconds. I played for maybe for maybe like 10, 15 minutes. It might have been longer. I played the level a lot of times. I couldn't get to the end. I kept dying. So like, I'm trying to beat 17 seconds, and it is just because it was my first time playing the game, and I was absolutely exhausted at the time. This was at the end of one of the days. It's a game I can see myself wanting to play at home and really get the hang of it, because the fluid nature of grabbing guns and moving to the next point. It feels good. It looks good. Same as Wes, it all depends on like how much variety there is to this, and if there is, I think it's going to be solid. I would put it in the B category.
I think you guys both said B. I was definitely more along the C category, but I will go with B. You guys have actually played it, and you know what you're talking about. And also, I see in the chat, who was it? 5 Banaka Sprays was like, Tiger Blade is awesome. And, I know that I think that's more the feeling out there than my feeling, right? More people think that.
I liked it as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. 4 more games, you guys. Let's do this. We got VRSO, Bare Knuckle Fighting next. Comes to us from the same developer as VR Adventure, Monologic Games. Radically different game for their next outing. Obviously, also radically delayed. This thing was supposed to be out forever ago. And I have no idea what the progress is, but it is still supposed to come out this year, as far as I know. I don't know. Wes, talk to me about it. How do you know anything about it? Have you played it on any other platform, or are we just all going in blind on
No, I
this?
haven't played it. It's not out on any platform yet. They have continuously delayed it um, because they're holding themselves to a high standard with this.
Good.
They know they have to nail it to pull off what they're trying to do here. And what they're trying to do is basically something that hasn't been done in VR yet, and that is a hand-to-hand combat simulator. And I think they're going to do it. And as a fan of combat sports, I'm extremely excited for this game. I think this is going to be an excellent game. I talked to the developers about this game when it was in the very early planning stages, and was talking to them about things like having realistic traits on the characters, and having characters have different knuckle durability, and head movement, and all the things that play in the real life combat. And they seem to know and follow along with the things that I was saying pretty well. So they know what this game needs to be great, and I think that it's going to be. I'm at an A on this. I think it's going to be really good.
I mean, that's everything I wanted to hear, right? It's like we had Creed Championship Edition on PSVR2, and it was like good, all right, like it just didn't. It's the fighting didn't look nearly as fast and fluid as they're showing in this, and obviously it's a different sport. So my hope is that you're right, Wes. Miles, you want to chime in?
Yeah, I mean, I was a big fan of Creed and really liked the Championship Edition. This was something that definitely sparked my interest to begin with. The only thing is, and look, this is a thing we talk about with all sorts of games. In the trailers, it's just floating hands, and I feel like in combat, you kind of want to have the literal embodiment, so that when you're blocking, they're not punching through an invisible arm. But look, that's not me saying, and therefore it's going to be a bad game. If they nail it right, I guess it's like Creed as well. How do you expand a simple mechanic to have longevity with different modes? And Creed, the Championship Edition in particular, added so much content, including a lot of fitness stuff. Like you could set the number of calories you want to burn, and once you've burnt it, that's when you knock out the opponent. So they had some really cool stuff there. So yeah, I'm really excited. I think if this is a really well done simulator, I think this could be great. I would give it a B ranking.
Yeah, I like the enthusiasm you gave to it, Wes, and it instilled some confidence in me. However, the only thing I know about Monologic is Ven, and Ven wasn't bad, but I also didn't think it was very good. I think we have different opinions about that one as well. And so, yeah, I'm listening. I would feel weird about putting it in the A category until I've played it. I really hope it's more what you're saying, Wes, than what I'm thinking. And so I think Miles and I are both saying B, so that's where I'm going to put it.
Fair enough. To be fair, it is not going to be a game for everyone.
All right, 3 more. I'm very, very curious about your opinions on all 3 of these. Wander of the Fragments of Fate, a game that we've already played. Well, Wes and I have already played. And it was fantastic. One of the better games of the PSVR1 generation. And these guys have gone back over there at Mighty Eyes. They've gone back to the well and spent just as long as any studio would to make a brand new VR game.
Yes.
That's the amount of time, the 2+ years they've spent since the launch of this game. They've gone back and basically just to make it better and to bring it into a new engine and to add jumping and climbing and all sorts of new shit, including new areas and new puzzles. It's like taking one of the best VR games that we've played and just skyrocketing it. That's the hope. I guess since we've all been pretty positive about this, I guess what I want to know from you guys is, are there any doubts in your mind that that's what they're going to do with this? Are there any doubts that like something could go horribly wrong and we're just going to get like somehow a lesser version or something that just doesn't live up to maybe our expectations of a game that was great a couple years ago? Kick it off, Miles.
This for me, I mean, without even talking about the game, for me, this is the easiest S rank on the list, in my opinion.
Wow.
I think I don't know. Maybe you disagree. I think out of all these games, this is the one that I think is going to just be excellent. And you said it well. They spent so much time optimizing something that has already been made. You don't do that unless you have a real good sense of something. Now the expansions and all those pieces they've done could be misguided, could be a big miscalculation. But when I saw what they did on PSVR with that hardware, they're clearly some very bright, very innovative individuals. And so, yeah, even without the hype factor, for me, I think this is just a clear S.
Yeah. So when I was asking you at the top, are we grading this on quality or are we grading this on hype? This game specifically is why I was asking that. Because if we're grading it in terms of hype, I would probably be at an A level for this.
Yeah.
Because as we've said before, I've played this game. I know what happens. I'm going to know the solutions to many of the puzzles. So I'm not as hyped about it as I should be. If we're grading it on quality, like you said that we were,
Yep.
the original version of the game is an S tier game. So,
Yes.
and I expect this to be better. It's going to have better production value. It's going to have new content. It's not going to be as janky as that version was. So in terms of quality, this is an S tier game, no question.
I've got nothing to add. I think you guys nailed it. This is, I had a lot of doubts when this game came out on PSVR 1. It was coming out at the same time as Zenith. And I was like, what are you guys doing? They were charging more for it than Zenith. We're like, oh my God, how can you possibly charge $40 for this game without having played it? We were like, I don't know, guys. This seems like a real bad misstep. And now, now they're charging $50 for this one. And I'm like, yep, I feel like you're not charging enough. It's like they proved themselves. And they've got this new engine that they're calling VRAF that they're actually, I think, licensing out. Basically, they've made it easy for games to feel more VRAF. Like that is their goal with this. That's why there's no more teleportation. There's no more, you're not teleporting off of ledges. You're actually climbing down ledges and climbing up ladders and doing all of that yourself. If they screw this up, man, I will be absolutely shocked. And so,
Yeah.
I have no problem putting this in S. I think that's exactly where it belongs. Two more, you guys. Whitewater VR. Whitewater VR. Listen, this is what I wanted from Kayak. I wanted it to be a little more exciting, and so I'm excited for it. However, there's a few different Kayak games out there. This seems like it's the one below Kayak when people talk about it in terms of like quality. It seems like it's going to deliver what we're looking for. I don't know. Talk to me. Who's got thoughts?
I'm not super excited for this. Do I want there to be something to do in Kayak VR? Sure I do, but that's just to make it something that I will play at all, rather than just go into it to check out the graphics one time and put it down. I think that this will be probably funner in terms of gameplay, but I really don't expect it to live up in terms of production and like the beautiful scenery that you see in Kayak. So that's kind of a wash for me. Like, it would need to have all of that for me to want to go in the VR and Kayak. So I'm just kind of meh. I like C for this, in my opinion.
What do you think, Miles?
Yeah, for me, it's a C for all the reasons that Wes had mentioned. If it's going to be doing something that Kayak VR isn't, which is faster races and that, it's got to nail it on all the other fronts. And something that's hard to tell until you're in it is the mechanics and how it feels as well. That's something. There's a lot of stuff that you don't really appreciate on the surface of a game until you're in it in VR. And there's a lot of aspects to Kayak VR that they absolutely nailed. But look, I'm definitely going to jump into it when it comes out. It looks decent, but the bar has been set so high already. So, Yeah, I don't know. I'm going to say a C, and I hope I'm wrong.
I hope we're all wrong. But I will say that the thing that they could have done to, do a running leap over Kayak VR was to nail the multiplayer, and that doesn't seem like something that they're doing. Okay, here's Kayak. We've been waiting for the multiplayer mode for so long, and now they're basically saying once the multiplayer mode comes out, it's just going to be 1v1, maybe with a bunch of ghosts, right? But as far as like active other players, it's just going to be 1v1, and that's like. That's not what I needed to really love Kayak, to get a group of friends together and play simultaneously. I think that would have been hilarious, running into each other and all that. And I don't think these guys are nailing the multiplayer either, if there is even multiplayer. I can't remember what it was, but I remember being disappointed to find out that it was either racing against ghosts, just like Kayak, or something similar. So I think because of that, I've got to put it in C as well. And I'm a little disappointed that they're not trying to be, go above and beyond.
Ian says Miles is just concerned about the lack of whackable penguins in it. I'm pretty sure I saw some penguins on either side at one bit. So,
but can they be whacked?
Let's hold judgment there until I'm in there.
Can they be whacked?
Can they be whacked?
All right, final one, you guys. Final one. This has been a fun show. Thanks for hanging in there with me. This is Zombie Army VR, and up until this week, I would have been like, "Oh, this is easily an A or S tier game." But the early reactions from people who played it at Gamescom have not been terribly positive. Actually, that's a lie. I don't know. Maybe you guys have been paying more attention to the reactions than I have. I've only seen, I believe it was Gamertag's video, and he was, I think the thumbnail said, "This is worrying." Have there been other people covering this game since Gamescom?
I haven't watched. I'm like you. I only saw GT's video. And it wasn't all bad. There were just some questions about polish and certain things that you wouldn't expect for a game that's getting ready to launch. And according to them, according to him, this was supposedly the launch build. So yeah, it did kill a little bit of my enthusiasm for it. Like I was initially an S tier for this. Like
same.
I'm a big fan of Sniper Elite. I love the gameplay mechanics. I love the whole setup of everything they've got going on there, and this game is very much patterned after that. Like Sniper Elite is literally one of my favorite first-person shooters in VR. I love it. But I am a little bit concerned about the polish level, and that's why I'm keeping it in the A tier instead of the S tier. I'm not so concerned about it to knock it down with the B level games yet, but it is a little concerning.
Yeah, I was really, really looking forward to this game, and off the back of the Sniper Elite VR, and then the developers of this game having worked on Zombieland. They are, I mean, what they did with Zombieland VR, bringing it to PSVR2, the haptics, the optimization they done for an already existing game, really top tier. XR games, that was it. But having seen some of these reports, and it's not just someone saying, "Oh, I played it and it didn't, connect with me." He gave a few examples, one of which being that, like immersion mechanics. This gamer tag, by the way, was talking about that. The menu is all done through a clickable menu as opposed to, and I think it's called the satchel, the menu. And he's like, "Why are you pressing a menu that's called satchel when you could literally grab one off you and look in it?" So he just thought that was a missed opportunity.
Are you talking about like an inventory? Or you're saying menu?
Yeah.
Okay.
But sorry, it's done as just a basic menu that's called a satchel,
Gotcha.
and as opposed to like grabbing something off. And then the other piece, which is the thing I found more concerning, was that it's all about the slow-mo piercing shots. And when it hits the enemy, he was saying like the teeth don't, because what it would do, it would go in, you'd see like the bone crack and everything, and that happened in Sniper Elite VR. And what he was saying was that wasn't happening here. You get like the slow-mo of it going through the body and that, but like there's no shattering and things. So it's just one of those.
So weird.
There are some certain trademarks of this. When you think of Sniper Elite or Zombie Army VR, there are things that you associate with these Rebellion games, and for it to not have it, I'm going to use that polite term, feels like a missed opportunity.
Yeah.
And for a game like this, with all these other games we've got coming out, you can't afford to have missed opportunities like this. If it really is like with all those issues that have been communicated so far, I would just say, and obviously it's easy to say this, delay it till next year.
Yeah.
Like why are you putting it out with all these other, like, we have got so many games happening. Get it right, but then we don't know what it is with the production cycle.
Yeah, listen, if we hear that it's delayed, it will be in direct response to these early impressions, and I hope that we hear it's delayed, because again, who the fuck? Look at all the games in the S tier, in the A tier, and even B tier. These games that are looking very, very promising. It's going to be really hard to compete. I don't care what month this game comes out in over the course of the rest of the year. And they haven't said, I don't believe. They've just said 2024. They're not going to compete. It's like, so why put out the game for it not to sell and then lose all momentum, and then and then have to do the Hellsweeper thing in 5 months from now and say, hey, we fixed everything. Be like, you know what? No one fucking cares anymore. It's too little too late. So you're better off just delaying it. I'm still oddly hopeful for it. Like I am, like I'm just like, because I just tend to trust myself more than everybody else. You know, I know what I like and I know what works for me and what doesn't. And so until I play it, honestly, I think it would have been the A category for me, but hearing some of these negative impressions, I feel like maybe pushes it down to B at worst. Give me a letter, guys. Give me a letter.
So for me, this would have been an S for me, having not seen anything about it, just because of what I've played before, but based on the things I'm hearing. And again, it's these tangible examples that I mentioned.
Yep.
And this is if we're going on their word, and I trust them to, you know, people aren't going to just be making stuff up about a game unless there's, you know, when you're speaking negatively about something, it's dropped from like an S to a B. So I'm on a B rank.
Is that a B for US as well?
I mean, I'm not going to fight you on it. Like, it's still an A for me, but
Okay.
But I understand. I understand the sentiment here. I still think it's going to be fun, regardless if the teeth shatter and the menu button. The menu is a satchel button instead of an actual satchel.
Sure.
Like, you know, I have a lot of respect for Gamertag VR and his opinions, but I don't always agree with them. So I'm going to continue to be optimistic and hope for the best here.
All right.
I like that. I like that optimism.
Man. All right. I don't know, man. I don't know. I feel like I'm so malleable today. I'm feeling like, listen. Here's I'm gonna put it in A, and here's why. We put fucking Undead Citadel in A. Right?
That's true.
When I look at this game and I look at Undead Citadel, I'm like, dude, we put Frenzies in A. Listen, I think that this game, there's still some time before it comes out. There's still some time to make things better. And again, I have not played it for myself, so I'm a little nervous about taking someone else's opinion on a pre-release version. Let's put it in A and cross our fucking fingers that it belongs there. So, holy shit, you guys, that was a ride, huh?
It was.
Congratulations, everybody. Thanks for sticking it out with us, chat. There's about 50 less of you than there was 2 hours ago.
Where did we put Trombone Champ, by the way? I never heard where you stuck that one at, Bryan.
B.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep. Along with affected the Asylum, Chernobyl, Metal Hellsinger. It's in good company, man. Snow Scout. I think it's in very good company.
Solid games in there.
Amazing. And dude, and the funny thing is like, you know, the D category like has 4 games in it. We had 31 games going into this, and only 4 of them are we like, this is gonna be rough, right? Like sometimes people like will comment on PSVR this week and be like, oh, what a bunch of shovelware. I was like, I don't think you know what shovelware is. like we've got it pretty good over here. The level of quality on PSVR2 has been surprisingly good, right? So, all right, guys, thanks for sticking that out with me. Just a couple more things we want to talk about before we get out of here. And one of the big news stories actually from today, and that is that there's a new Five Nights at Freddy's game announced, and even better, It's coming to PSVR2.
It's amazing.
It's fucking
They are being busy.
craziness, right? It's
trilogy.
called Five Nights at Freddy's: Secret of the Mimic. Let me bring up. It's only all we've got is a little teaser trailer from it right now, and so it doesn't give us too much information. So let me just bring that up. So at least something is playing other than Zombie Army. And let's see what kind of information we have on this. Most of the information we have is from Game Rant. And so I'm going to go back to full screen here. That's not the right full screen. That's the right full screen. We'll take this off the screen. And we'll bring up the article from Game Rant. Guys, while I'm bringing this up, are we excited for another Five Nights at Freddy's game?
Yeah. Yeah, no, I am. I want to go back to Five Nights at Freddy's Help Wanted 2 because I want to know if they've patched it. And it looked fine. It was just that I was so blown away at how good Five Nights at Freddy's Help Wanted, the port to PSVR2.
Yeah, agreed.
That looked amazing. And I was like, did it look a lot better than number 2? And it is.
Yeah.
Like, it's significantly better looking.
Yeah, I haven't checked in with Help Wanted 2 since launch. I remember that being a really busy time for us. But there's a handful of horror games that need to be reviewed or re-reviewed for PSVR1 upgrades. And that is definitely one of them. That's actually 2 of them. I would love to have a PSVR2 review for Help Wanted 1 and 2 done. And I'm trying to plan this stuff out for October, right? Just to make sure we jam pack October with as much horror content as we possibly can. Wes, do the FNAF games do it for you at all? I feel like it's not your speed.
Not really. I mean, they're a collection of mini games. I mean, I don't hate them or anything. They were fine. But the format for Help Wanted wasn't my favorite. With that said, like something like Sister Location seems like it might be a little bit better, and I think this might be following along that path. So this could be better than the Help Wanted games.
Yeah.
If this is more of a like adventure style game, then I'm definitely going to enjoy it more than the collection of mini games that the Help Wanted games were.
Yeah, actually, outside of this article, I think you fucking nailed it. The information that we have that comes from FNAF Insiders, thanks Rypop for tracking this down, it says that it's in the Security Breach universe, and that probably means it's going to be free roaming. Like you're able to walk around like Security Breach allowed you to do. So let's see what this article has to say real quick here. Five Nights at Freddy's appears to have finally revealed the origin of the Mimic with the developer Steelwool announcement of the next mainline title, Five Nights at Freddy's Secret of the Mimic. The announcement marked day 6 of the 8-day FNAF 10th anniversary celebration, which I didn't even fucking know was happening, obviously, during which a new release or special announcement is released every day from August 1st to August 8th, 2024. While many fans suspected that Steelwool would announce a DLC for December 2023's Help Wanted 2, the studio stunned fans with the reveal of a brand new title. Not only is it a new FNAF title set to deliver the earliest playable events in the franchise's history, but its announcement trailer included elements referencing some of the lore's biggest mysteries. Should these elements collide in the narrative, Secret of the Mimic seems poised to bring FNAF's biggest forces together. That's probably all we need to talk about.
Now that I think about it, we read some rumors and speculation about this game a year or more ago.
Did we?
And that it was going to be a Sister Location style game, and we were speculating that it might be a sequel in that series. And here it is. This has to be what that rumor was about. It must be this game. And there was I don't remember exactly what it was, but there was reason to believe that it would have VR support. So yeah, that just came to me. I don't know why, but I seem to remember talking about this.
It is pretty crazy, man. Like, FNAF is a pretty big name. And I don't know. I don't think I expected Help Wanted 2 to come to PSVR 2. It sort of seemed like it launched without much fanfare. Like, there wasn't like a lot of build up to launch. And so I was like, I figured that was just going to be it. And here we are. It's like we're getting the next big game in VR. Let's see, is this worth Oh my god, this article's fucking got a lot of shit going on here. There's a bunch of articles together, but it's because the Secret of the Mimic, a teaser came out a little bit ago, and now we just found out, I believe today, that it's got PSVR2 support. Secret of the Mimic's short reveal trailer packs a ton of punch in a rather simple package. As the film reel rolls into focus, the camera approaches a mysterious wind-up box. Suddenly, its arm starts to move in a distorted version of My Grandfather's Clock. The song, previously played by the Puppets music box in FNAF 2, fills the air. It stops, but nothing pops out. Instead, a lid slowly lifts to reveal the upper face of what appears to be an animatronic clown who lets out a haunting laugh before the film reel sizzles and ends. Did they say this was? I think this said 2025 at the end of it.
Yeah, it did.
Cool.
Yeah, I've got the trailer in front of me.
Very cool.
There's at the end 2025. Excellent,
because dude, we don't have any more room in 2024. I think we just
yeah
went through all the games that are coming out, and we've got enough. Let's space this shit out. Right?
Yeah. Do you know we're gonna get to January 1st and all the articles. Where are all the games this year?
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Nice.
PSVR is dead. There's nothing to play.
Nothing to play. Same as always. All right, guys. That brings us to the final segment. It is time to play a little 5-minute challenge. And I believe Miles is hosting.
All right.
So, Wes, I hope you've been drinking some coffee because it looks like you're fading.
No.
Can I reach through the camera and slap
your
face around a little bit? All right. That means Miles has a PSVR 1 or PSVR 2 game in his head, and it's up to me and Wes and everybody in the chat to figure out what game that is in under 5 minutes. Infinite number of questions, but only 5 minutes. I still haven't figured out if this is the right format for this or not, but let's fucking go. On your mark, get Des, go. Kick it off, Wes.
Is this a PSVR 2 game?
Yes.
Is it also a PSVR 1 game?
No.
Okay.
Was this a launch title for PSVR 2?
Good question. No.
This game, did it come out this year?
Oh man, you've really got me there. Let me just quickly check.
Come on, AJ, you can do it.
No.
Okay, so it wasn't launch and it wasn't this year, so it was like later.
It's a narrow window, yeah.
Yeah.
It was like second half. Okay, so
is it a horror game?
Good question. Thank you.
Say again?
Is it a horror game?
No.
Single player?
Is it
Sorry.
Yes.
Ooh, okay.
Is it exclusive to Sony platform?
I don't think so.
Okay.
It's platform, so it's a port, PSVR 2, but it wasn't a launch title, and it's not a horror game.
I'm just
single
checking.
player.
I'm pretty sure it's not.
Is it also playable on the flat screen by any chance?
No. So it's on other platforms, and it's not got flat screen.
Okay,
Looper in the chat. Sorry, Looper's just wondering if it's also multiplayer because I didn't ask that.
No.
Okay, single player only.
Single player only. Did we talk about it? Mention it during today's show?
No.
No. Okay.
Any rhythm elements?
Not horror.
Nah.
Okay.
Do any shooting in this game?
Yeah.
Shooter.
Okay. Is it based on a license?
I'm gonna make a pass. I want you to ask another question. I don't know. Maybe I should answer it. The game itself is not based on a license, but there are licensed elements in it.
Oh my god, what does that mean? All right, has this developer made other
so it's
PSVR 2 games?
Something that has branding in it.
Yeah, but what has?
I mean, if I explain it more, I think it's gonna be really fucking obvious.
Yeah. Don't explain it.
Okay.
Right.
Let's think.
That's a good one, Scott. Does it have any retro inspiration?
I'll say no.
Okay, no pixel ripped.
Mm-hmm.
Bro, it can't be licensed music. That can't be the thing. That would
No, and it can't be Rec Room either because that's not on PlayStation VR2.
true.
Oh, don't bring that up.
Yeah, it is what it is.
Yeah.
So it's a
is what it is.
shooter. It's got some licensing in it.
Is it going for realism graphically?
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
Okay. We got to speed this up. We
It's
only
a
got a
shooter,
minute
you
left.
guys. It's a shooter. People keep epic roller coasters that like
There is shooting in some of those epic roller coasters.
Is it a roller coaster game?
It is.
Oh my god.
There we go. Go ahead, Brian.
I just want to be absolutely sure. Does it have lots of DLC, including a SpongeBob pack?
It does indeed.
All right. Is it epic roller coasters?
It is indeed, Brian.
God damn, dude. The chat. I think the chat saved us big time on that, dude. I don't think
Yep.
Well, to be honest, you say the chat, it was Looper typing it again and again and again.
it's always Looper.
That's a good point.
Wow. How did I not
Leave the
see
chat.
that? Amazing. Leave the chat.
Yeah, so when you were asking about the licensing, because the thing I was going to say was it has licensed DLC, and I
Oh,
thought
the
that's too obvious.
SpongeBob. Yeah.
Yeah.
I fucking said it with my answer, and I still didn't get it. Well, thanks, chat. But really, thanks.
The
Looper.
the SpongeBob DLC is actually probably the most impressive out of all of them. Like, it looks really good in the headset. I was genuinely blown away. Like, thinking about all these theme parks you go to for these rides and these sort of mixed reality things, and it's like the fact you can do this in your home, and there's a bit where you go out of the water and you see basically, the beginning of SpongeBob, the island above the surface, and then you go back down again. You genuinely feel like you're in Bikini Bottom. It's amazing.
That's cool. I haven't done epic roller coasters in a long time. And I've never done anything like that. So
Wait, have you done it?
maybe I
Have you
should
played the
give it a look.
PSVR2 version? Wes?
I have not. No.
Dude,
No, no.
you should check into it. It is way better looking than I expected it to be, because I had played it on Quest 2 or something like that and was like, yeah, this is kind of a throwaway roller coaster platform. And then I played it on PSVR2 and was like, this is actually really kind of impressive. Just check into it.
Yeah. I'm an enthusiast. I like roller coasters, so
Nice.
I probably will.
All right, you guys. Listen, real quick, in case there's anybody out there in Australia or New Zealand, or I guess Canada, who hasn't picked up their PSVR2 headset yet, just keep in mind that back to school sale has infected your countries, and now you can get the same discount that the UK and the US got a while back. Massive discount on PSVR2 headsets. So make sure you pick it up while you can. These sales only last a week, so it's probably almost over. Make sure you buy it. Shout out to Ace Gamer with the level 1 membership. Thank you for joining us. Mark with the $5 tip says there's a Metal Hellsinger VR demo in Steam. It's killer. Definitely A. Okay. Darth Vader, the Game Cat with the $10 tip says Phasmophobia is one I'm most excited for. Thank you, Mr. Sonic, for that. Let us all pray it releases this October. Peter, the Underground Game Cat on parole with the $2 tip says haven't tipped in a while. Just want to say love y'all. Love y'all too, Peter. And then something Game Cat adjacent. Oh, it's so nice that he still exists. It says with a $2 tip says love you. I love you too, man. I love you too. Thank you everybody for showing up and sticking with our epic 3.5 hour stream. It's so great. And the best way.
Speaking of epic, Brian,
roller coasters?
the epic roller coaster. The question you asked, did it come out this year? The reason I struggled was when I looked up, it came out on the 14th of December last year. So it was like right on the edge.
Yeah.
I was just like, is it this year?
Guys, make sure you go subscribe to Wes and his friends who cover all VR over on Virtual Strangers. The link for that is in the description below. Also, subscribe to Miles, who's on an endless quest to play every single PSVR2 game ever made. And I don't know what the fuck you're doing here, honestly. I phoned it in a long time ago. And GC13 with the Diet Pepsi Cat, the $5 tip said, when are you going to go back to 3 days a week Gamescast again? The answer is I don't fucking know yet. Like I wanted to do it at the beginning of September, and I think it might have to wait till the beginning of October. But we'll play it by ear. I have a lot going on the channel and in my personal life in September, and so it's just I'll keep you guys posted. I'll keep you guys posted too. Okay, everyone, stay posted. Fingers crossed. Thank you guys again for being here. Thank you everyone who helps this channel run, supports the channel financially. We love you all so very much. Here it is, you guys, from Ace Gamer, your clip of the week. Yeah, that was such a good clip from Ace Gamer. The No Man's Sky stuff looks beautiful, dude. It was all underwater. This underwater world that he was in. I mean, it just looked fucking incredible. The resolution was bad though. It was all artifacty and crap.
And what he killed a laughing fish.
Well, it shouldn't have been laughing. Should it?
It was going. Or was that getting shot? I don't know.
Fucking.
That's true.
You laugh, you
shouldn't
die.
be laughing. It's not very considerate of other people's feelings, and we don't tolerate that.
Right?
Agreed.
Fucking snowflakes. You're all so goddamn sensitive all the fucking time. De Gaia UTD 40 with the €2 says IRE, Ireland, y'all legends. Fucking awesome. Guys, real quick. Usually I have no idea what the, when we go back in Without Parole history, what I'm going to expect to see when we switch to the other thumbnail. But I have to tell you guys, while I was saving today's thumbnail, I saved them all by the dates, 8-28-24, because I'm an American.
That's nice.
Right. And, and so I just so happened to see the one from 8-28-23. So this one is the rest of 2024. And let's look at the exact same date from last year. The rest of 2023.
Switchback, it's going to be Switchback update.
Dude, it's not. It is legit the exact same fucking thing we did today. It was the rest of 2023 mapping the next 4 months. It's the exact. We did the exact same show last year on the exact same day. I fucking love it.
Wow,
That's awesome. Oh man. And my god, look what's in the thumbnail too. It's like we're so excited for the Foglands and for Ghostbusters.
Foglands.
Man, we had no idea what disappointment we were in for. Do you think we're gonna look back at this show next year and go, oh, they had no idea what kind of disappointment they were in for?
Absolutely. That's 100% going to happen.
Oh, kill me now. I can't go through another Ghostbusters and Fogland season. I can't. I'm not built for that shit.
Hype. I was so hyped for Foglands. Like I thought it was going to be like
especially after I watched your interview. You had it so hyped up for me, Brian.
Dude, I literally just told that to somebody today when we were talking about it. Actually, the Into the Radius people. I was like, listen, I'll do a dev interview. I fucking will. But I got to play the game first. I was like, the Foglands scarred me for life. Literally just told them that today. I was like, we're never doing that again. Never. All right, guys, thank you again. This has been a long fucking show, and I really, really enjoyed spending some time with you guys. So thank you very much. I love you guys, and I love you all in the chat. We'll see you soon. Come join our Discord.